Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 153. We are one night away from attending Forbidden Door in Toronto. We're down in the basement on a rainy Saturday to talk about the week of wrestling as my son and co-host wrestles with cords. And Jack versus cords. Jack wins.
Okay, I got it.
Nice. Submission. The cords submitted eventually.
Yeah,
but anyways.
I got it. Okay, yeah. We're good now.
So yeah, what are your excitement levels for tomorrow?
I love Will Ospreay.
Yeah, we're pretty pumped. We're gonna, I don't know, head down early, probably catch the pre-show, or at least be there for the pre-show.
I love Billy Starks.
Because then you want to go look at merch and whatnot.
I'll either do that when we're at the pre-show or when Punk's wrestling, or both.
Right. There's
maybe,
11.
Maybe we'll decide. We'll decide during the pre-show.
Yeah.
And then, because all the idiots love Punk, so then no one's gonna be
Will
there.
be empty.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's a good idea.
Right. At 11 matches, because we're doing, we're adding a preview and predictions to today's show.
Yeah.
So there's 11 matches we're going to be seeing, and you think only one on the pre-show, probably?
I think there's gonna be another. I feel like they would add one more.
In an hour, I would hope they'd put in two, or else it's
one that's WWE style, or was
zero now, which I still think is like going to zero matches on their kickoff or whatever they call it has made it from there's like a 20% chance I'll check it out to see the match to zero. Like there is zero chance I will watch a minute of it.
The kickoff is basically just like an hour of the bump.
Right. It's just talking.
And I hate the bump.
Kayfabe talking heads, and it's like awful.
I hate because I hate the bump more because it's like it's in this weird nebulous between kayfabe and not kayfabe, even though it's clearly kayfabe.
Right.
It's like trying not to be, but it clearly is.
Here's
so it's
the
like
characters as people, but they still stick to the storyline kind of when they're there.
Yeah, I just hate it with a burning passion,
it.
and I think that's fair because it's truly horrible.
Because our TV gets left
so
on
dumb,
the WWE channel a lot, and when you turn it on and it's the bump, you're not happy.
Like I hate it. It's like I don't think I'm wrong for hating it either. 'Cause it's just like especially for us, like
objectively bad is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, because especially for us, like the way we like stuff, it's like
the way we consume our
especially
wrestling.
with you listening on to like the podcast where like they're actually talking about it and they got like a taste like, and this is just like the opposite.
Yes.
Like the Chris Van Vliet guy, I love his interview with Ospreay because like that's genuinely Ospreay.
Right.
But like imagine Ospreay on the bump, that would just be horrible.
It would. You don't get any information.
It's
just
it's
reinforces
so
their storylines
in the worst way possible.
Yeah, it's not great.
Anyways, that's their kickoff shows, and AEW it's better, I would hope.
Yep. So we'll see. Pretty excited to head down there tomorrow.
The day AEW does a kickoff panel is the day I stop watching.
Gonna get gouged for parking. That's when you stop watching. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No way. No chance. I don't know. You had exams. You have one left, right, on Monday, but it's your practical, just fitness testing.
Yeah.
So you had math and English and something else, or that's it?
No,
or not math. Sorry, science and English.
Yeah, that's it.
Both went okay.
Yeah.
You didn't seem to.
In theory.
You won't know for a couple days probably, but
actually on the science one, I think I got 83%.
Nice. And then are you going back to after Monday? You're done, right? So.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go back in?
I can't imagine I'll go back in.
You can. There's a couple days you can, but again,
I don't know. It depends what else I'm doing, I guess.
Yeah, and your brother actually has the weekend off from basketball, which lines up perfectly because I'm in 3-4 hours supposed to head on a local bike tour of sort of this area. So we'll see.
No, I don't care. I'd forsake his basketball for Forbidden Door.
Yeah, but you would for sure. He wouldn't have games that late anyway. So
no, I don't care.
They've all been early morning.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm going to be biking around the community with some neighbors as they also drink wine, and I probably
inform them of your outfit.
That's not for today.
Better not be.
No, I did.
But
I know it is horrible, but that was on purpose because one of the events, our neighborhood, a couple friends of ours.
I gotta get on that. Maybe I can get on that logo at some point. Now,
right? Yeah, you're supposed to design a logo.
Yeah, I was just kind of waiting until I'm free.
So they organize events on our street, varying things. There was a rock concert in someone's garage once. We're going on a wine bike tour today. Just various reasons to get together.
I'm angry I wasn't invited. I love wine.
There's a wing one coming up. Everybody that comes brings their own whatever
I'm
wings.
Too young for wings.
So but I even forget where I was going. But so the outfit. One of them were supposed to wear a Hawaiian shirt. So yesterday we were in the Great Canadian Superstore, and on clearance was a really ugly patterned, like totally matching Hawaiian shirt and bathing suit. So it's like all one awful pattern. And I bought it, tried it on today. Jack was not a fan.
It's so bad.
It is bad. It's intentionally bad, okay? I'm embracing the theme and taking it to the next level with all one awful
The best part is
print.
that it's like it on their own, either part of it is perfectly fine.
It's true.
I have no issue with that. Like, it's a Hawaiian shirt.
Together,
that's perfectly fine.
Beyond.
The shorts, good bathing suit. Together,
True.
it's the worst thing I've ever seen. It's one of those weird things. Like, if you bought like one or the other, I would literally have no issue with it whatsoever.
It's
I
like
think
eating candy to the point where you get sick, right? There's a point where there's just too much. There's just too much.
There's too much of whatever that is.
Because I agree, as a bathing suit, totally fine.
Yeah.
Shirt, wearing it with a pair of shorts, no problem.
Yeah, like if you have like dark board shorts or something.
All together, comical.
It's just, like,
immediately.
It's an insult to my eyes.
It is.
Yeah.
But
so it's just crossing the line.
That's what I'll be doing today, and then tomorrow is nothing until Forbidden Door. So
just Forbidden Door.
Should be fun.
It's weird. It's already there.
I know, it's crazy. It went fast. Yeah. And then we'll keep lurking on tickets for Collision, and if they get bottom out, we might
Collision
add on to that tonight. Too. Which I think we'll quickly talk about Collision just before we do.
Right,
Dynamite,
yeah, that's
right?
kind of the structure.
We'll just add
if we watch it. I figure we'll watch.
I watched it.
I don't.
You cherry picked it, kind of.
Yeah, I cherry picked it. I'm just like, I'm wondering if I don't know if we'll watch this week because
I don't either.
Time wise,
I'll get around to it. I might.
Yeah, I'll try to. I don't know. It's like I'm in this weird spot. I want to care about it, and it's not just because the Punk stuff. Like, obviously, that's not ideal, and I hated his promo, and we'll get to that. But like,
we will.
Part of it's like, I guess I don't want to see all the Punk nonsense, and I feel like that'll dilute as they go on. Because the first show was really
it's gonna be for a while,
right?
Heavy Punk,
obviously, and I think that's part of it for me. But also, like, I don't know, just I don't. It's hard to care about it, at least, like, just for whatever reason. It might be like the time, like the day of the week it is. Because Saturday, I really don't like the Saturday slot. Just for whatever reason, I really don't like it. And at least like for the first week, and I guess the second week too, the stories are still feeling really Rampage-esque. Like
they are. It did feel like somewhere in between a Rampage and a Dynamite, to
right?
me.
And like
I
think that could have been chalked up to like a first episode kind of thing again. But like even the second week, like the 8-man tag was kind of stemming from the Dynamite storyline, so I guess that works. But that's also kind of a Rampage thing where it's like a 1 week setup from a Dynamite storyline, or the Sting and Darby, or as I like to call them, Sass.
Sass, you do like to call them that.
Yeah, their partner reveal that also feels like I don't know. There's something missing from Collision at least for now.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hopefully we keep watching because it's like another little thing to have, but I don't know. It's in this weird spot right now.
I didn't think it was bad, but it also didn't feel like I had to watch it as an AEW fan.
Especially as two people who aren't gaga for Punk.
Right, definitely
you don't need to watch it, right?
Nope.
Like at most I'd say I wouldn't want to see Murphy and Andrade.
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about that more. I don't know why I'm
we will
now.
So I figure we move in, although we've been talking a lot of wrestling in the banter just cuz, but that's fine. So we'll move into actual wrestling stuff now. The first segment we'll cover is taking a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, so ratings this week. NXT, actually a very good week for, I think, ratings in general. I'm even going to include the first ever Collision. So NXT averaged 773,000 viewers, which is up a huge amount, 33.1%, and earned a .23 in the key demographic, which is up almost 48%. And this was first part of NXT's 2-week Gold Rush special. And who are you attributing the bump to?
Baron Corbin and
nope.
Dana Brooke.
Nope. For real, though.
Who's
in the main event? You were like, it's cuz
Von Wagner.
Your boy is there.
Wagner.
Correct. Actually, I liked his segment this week. We'll get there. But no, Seth Rollins was headlined,
Seth
right?
freaking Rollins.
And he was in the main event with Breakker. So that is, guess what? The highest audience total stuff is meaningful this week for this. Ready? Highest audience total for the show since April 20th, 2021. All right, that's worth noting. Over 2 years.
2.0.
So that, right.
Yikes.
That's what this ratings felt like. Or before 2.0.
That is pre-2.0.
Right.
Hey, Black and Gold days.
We've been doing this podcast long enough that I remember in the 7s and 750s is when NXT was good still.
I miss the NXT. I don't care. Like, if NXT's good right now, it's never gonna be that. And
nope,
that's
that was
what
just
an
era that we will always remember.
I mean, it's like 2020, 2021 was like when the FNS reviewing era of NXT, that was still really good.
It was awesome.
I think because, and I think I said this before, I think because we reviewed it every week, it feels so much longer than it actually was when I'm thinking about it. Because I remember 2020, there was a lull, especially early pandemic. Because I remember I was barely watching.
You were hanging on.
This actually got me to watch it again because we were reviewing it, right?
Yep.
And then I feel like end of 2020, like around like the Balor O'Reilly stretch and whatnot. And like remember when Pat McAfee had his crew there, like all that stuff. Like end of 2020 and then 2021 until 2.0 was really good. It feels so much longer than that, but
I know.
And I miss those days.
And the highest demo number since October 28th, 2020. So huge ratings this week for NXT.
Black and gold.
And I mean, it is their gold rush, but I think the Rollins part is probably a big part of it because he's red hot right now.
Well, because they've done TV specials before.
He's red hot, and you know he's going to have good matches, which he does, and I'll get to that as well.
Yeah.
And then the first ever episode of Collision drew,
Collision ratings. Neat.
I'm pretty sure a really good number, although we have nothing to compare it to. But I personally, as a guy who looks at the ratings, was surprised. They drew
compare it to Dynamite, I guess.
816,000 viewers.
That's pretty good.
And a .33 in the key demo, right? So and number 3 on cable. So I would assume AEW is happy because I don't think Saturday night's a great time slot.
It's an alright night for fighting, but not a great night to put a wrestling show.
Big money for that song, by the way.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty good because Dynamite this week did 902,000 viewers, which is up 8.4 from last week, and got a .33 in the key demo, up 10%. And I just made a note this week of something different. The episode peaked. Unfortunately, I would suggest, but some people really liked it. The Mark Briscoe versus Jeff Jarrett concession stand brawl. It peaked with 976,000 viewers and a .36.
Yeah.
So that was the high point. I know people like that match. I'm not one of them, but we'll get to that as well.
Yeah.
News for you. I have 4 items, I think, 4 or 5.
It wasn't particularly.
If you don't
great
steal
week.
any, I agree.
The first one I had was Johnny TV is all elite, and he's a part of QTV now.
Right. So that's
Jonathan Morrison,
Uncle John Hennigan.
Yep.
Who we've met before.
Now he's signed. Because remember, he made appearances last year, but he wasn't signed. It was just Johnny Elite.
If I do start a Facebook this summer, I'm going to be posting the pictures of you as a little kid with John Hennigan and who else? Seidel,
Cage and Tessa.
Right, Cage and
Rich Swann.
Tessa. Yikes. Anyways, what do I have? Sorry, we talked about this, but LA Knight, I thought it was funny, says that concern over his age is what led to him being cast on main roster as a manager as Max Dupree. And that basically he's 40. I think he's 40 or over 40. I think just 40. But I mean, his reply is kind of like, I'm not the average 40-year-old. He points out like, he's obviously in awesome shape if you look at the dude.
Obviously.
And he hasn't had like
I saw that, yeah.
major injuries along the way, right? So
right, he's not completely banged up, and also his
style lends itself to staying pretty healthy too.
Yeah,
he's not doing anything.
He's like got charisma up the wazoo.
He does. He's a big deal right now.
Yeah, I saw Triple H was the one who helped him get back to LA Knight. Like
Makes sense.
Triple H.
Yes.
Love that.
Yep.
Next is another super exciting one. Liv Morgan's already back from injury.
Oh,
like
great.
She was injured, and it hasn't even been that long.
She's
so
like Cena. He used to come back from injuries, like, that'll take you for 6 months, and he's back in like 3.5 months.
Like Rumble 08.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's back already, and I guess her and Raquel get a rematch at some point. Baszler and Rousey won the unification match.
Right. I knew that. I did know that.
Baszler 2 belts, I guess. Because why give her a singles belt when you can give her 2 tag titles and have her feud with Liv Morgan? Woohoo!
There's a new women's tag team forming an Impact that I'm excited about. I'll get there too.
Nice.
Speaking of which.
Yeah, so Liv Morgan. Cool.
Nice.
I love Liv Morgan.
Big news. As we were hoping, and it kind of makes sense, it's not like it's a surprise, Don Callis apparently does plan to add members to his new, quote, family, I think it's being referred to, which I love.
That's
Heenan stuff, right? So
yeah.
That's awesome. So he was on Talk is Jericho recently and said the purpose, I also like this, the purpose of his new faction is to provide protection from the elite, who he says are planning to attack his prized asset, Takeshita. So basically, like, Takeshita's the crown jewel of this family, and he's going to employ a bunch of other people
next big thing, baby.
to protect him. And he said that the Don Callis family will be ready to face whatever's left of the elite and Blackpool once they're finished with each other. And it's going to add enough members to even up the numbers game with the elite, is what he says.
Okay, so like we're talking 4 people, tag team 2 other guys.
Yeah,
easy. Takeshita is the crown jewel.
Sounds great.
I would like that part because that's
me too.
I would expect Takeshita to be like the middle kind of guy.
So it's like he's Andre the Giant kind of thing, is what it feels like.
No, he's Kenny Omega,
I guess, but like in terms of the family. You know,
calling that Takeshita
or
fat?
Omega, yeah, when Callis was with them.
Takeshita fat?
No, just that he's the main guy.
Yeah, that's cool. That definitely means a push for Takeshita. I like this.
Me too.
Big things for Takeshita coming. That feels right.
And Callis is fantastic as a heel mouthpiece manager.
He's fantastic.
He is awesome. Yep.
it benefits Takeshi a lot. I'm super happy because I wouldn't have expected this off the back of the first Takeshi match that we saw, the Hangman one, because I love that. I thought it was awesome.
It was.
And then the Moxley one was amazing too. Like he had some great matches, but I didn't think like, because he was still he wasn't even signed at that point.
Nope.
So I didn't expect like him to get signed and then have like a big run.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were like excited waiting for him to come back,
Yes.
and then he actually got signed too. So that was sweet. And now like, I guess they can keep him around. Like, I'm super happy he's getting a push.
Your mom
just
even
really
walked
cool.
by and noticed him, as we were watching. So that was
he
interesting.
Looked cool as hell.
Yeah, he did look cool. She thought he looked like a villain from a movie or something.
Yeah, because Takeshi's awesome.
He is awesome.
And especially Callus with the scar and the sunglasses, it looks perfect.
He does look good.
WWE's reportedly planning to run Zane Owens against blank. Who are you guessing?
Zane Owens
reforming a team to face.
Well, the Usos.
No, they're still a team.
Reforming a team. Ricochet and the big guy.
Mm-mm.
Wasn't he with Strowman? I don't know who.
DIY.
Oh yes. I thought you. I always assume you're leading me to bad news with WWE stuff.
That's
so
fair.
I would have never gotten to something I actually wanted. Nice. And your tone didn't give it away. So good for you.
Don't really want that because I feel like they're both top babyface tag teams, and while I'm not saying you can't do a babyface feud, I think both of these teams work on the strength of being really popular, and I don't think the fans choosing between them would really help.
You're right.
Especially with these, because I think Zayn and Owens' benefit is like really lately has been Zayn's like uber popular, and then Owens obviously a byproduct of that.
Yep.
And they're like crazy over, and then DIY is gonna be crazy over when they finally reunite because everyone loves DIY, right?
Correct.
And I think clashing these two things doesn't really work well. So I'd like Zayn and Owens to like eventually like maybe at SummerSlam drop the titles to like either Judgment Day or Imperium. Maybe throw Imperium a bone here.
Yep.
And then
easily
Imperium could have a cool feud with DIY.
Agreed.
Imperium could have a cool feud with Zayn and Owens. Same for Judgment Day.
Yep.
Either of them. I just don't really want like the two, because I love Zayn and Owens and I love DIY.
I agree.
I just don't see it mashing super well. Like I think the matches would be amazing. I just don't like. I want like one of those teams to get all the love to like really root for them rather than like kind of like having like this.
I think you're right about that whole dynamic. I'm just kind of happy that like you're putting two guys I like back together. I know it works and they're gonna get some attention. Mm-hmm. I agree that dynamic would be super weird with Zayn and Owens, but there's so much good stuff you can do outside of that. That to have them back would be awesome. So Jim Ross, I didn't really notice somehow during Collision, but he apologized for his voice. I guess he was struggling through it, and it will, me when I'm taking. I heard notes,
about that too.
Like
I didn't notice.
Paying attention, I guess I don't hear a lot of commentary.
No, I didn't notice him either. I honestly had no idea.
He's gonna quote "step away to heel." I guess his voice was really hoarse. And I don't mean to be rude, but I'm fine with him going away. I don't think he adds anything to AEW. 100% when they first started. Signing him was smart because he's like
it's like signing Jericho.
I think he's the greatest wrestling commentator of all time that I've ever seen for sure. So it was really smart to attach him to your brand new company. It seems legit, right? It seems like it's got a budget. Yeah. But now you're established, and I don't think you need him for anything anymore.
No, and I think that's better coming from you, because I think with me, for like the case can always be like, oh, you weren't around, so you don't get it. But
he's
you
were
around Prime JR, right? So, and I share your current sentiment. I don't see much of a purpose for him, and especially when I really like Excalibur and Taz are here. I think Shivani's pretty good. Like he's also older from the same time as JR, but he's still serving a better purpose and also doing like interviews and stuff. So
I think JR is at best neutral. I do like when he does the sit down things. If they want to just relegate him to that role, totally fine.
But I think everyone on commentary is serving a better purpose than him. Even like Jericho on Rampage, he's always really entertaining, and
JR's just grumpy, and like you can tell his opinion on some stuff when you're in it, and I don't need it.
Yeah, he's not like doing a good enough job of like, not, I don't want to say like being professional, but like kind of, or like keeping his real thoughts out. Right. Like he's kind of like
you can tell what his grievances are with storylines and wrestling and characters,
or like
and stuff,
whatever.
And I don't need
whatever's
that.
going on. Yeah. So yeah, I did see that. I guess that makes sense. I didn't notice anything either, but whatever.
apparently it was blatantly obvious, and I must have just gapped on it. Or again, commentary doesn't always stick with me.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 more.
So apparently AEW is more divisive than ever.
Yeah,
wonder why.
We were sort of chatting about this. We've heard things, and then you get Dax going on and going, I don't know who's saying that, but it's not, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, tell him about the Meltzer thing. That was funny.
I think it was basically that Meltzer had somebody on the roster. I think it was a prominent star.
Yeah, I'm seeing, one of the top stars told Meltzer, we were told that we would not have to deal with Punk except for on pay-per-views, but here he is on week 1 because he was on Dynamite. And so, yeah, like the division's coming after his comeback promo on Collision, and believe me, I feel that.
Yeah.
As well as his ESPN interview. It's led to a lot of issues.
So then Dax of FTR basically tweeted something that said, like, how about to whoever that was, if you have a problem, you talk to Punk talk to the person face to face or whatever. And Meltzer's reply was basically like, remember what happened last time they tried that or something?
Yeah, like it worked out great I thought that was really funny because that's literally like the whole issue here. Like,
I'm starting to feel your FTR is unfortunately, like, they're my favorite team, man, and their loyalty to Punk is rubbing me the wrong way.
It's really irking me, and I do love FTR.
And I don't even claim to know like the actual truth of everything that's going on. All I can say is from where I sit and my perspective and whatever. Not a fan of Punk, and them ride or dying for him.
Yeah,
is not my favorite look for them.
I think not only is it like that they're supporting Punk, which I think it's okay to support Punk. I don't love it, but if they were just like friends with Punk and like kind of on his side, I wouldn't care a ton. Like,
but Dax is vocal about it,
especially Dax, and I would assume Cash too. Like, so they both seem to have the same mentality.
But I hear Dax all the time.
Yeah, obviously, I would assume they kind of have the similar mentality. But like, yeah, like what you're saying, how ride or die they are for Punk, that kind of bothers me because I have so much disdain for Punk, especially just with everything, and like I don't get how they're so on that side of the fence. Like, I don't know, it's weird, and so Meltzer's clapback is. It makes
pretty
me
funny.
Chuckle.
And I'm not always a huge Meltzer fan either.
No, but I think that
was funny.
That's a well placed one. But yeah, of course, Punk's already causing issues, and I don't think like that's like he hasn't like outright done anything yet. But you knew this was coming.
Yes,
and especially with him being on Dynamite within the first week, like that was I thought that was kind of the whole.
Someone called him a time bomb, not a pipe bomb, and then he posted some snarky reply to that as well.
I think that is a very apropos statement.
I think that's pretty much perfect.
I believe, especially, and
we just don't know what the timer set for.
I wouldn't have thought that a year ago. Like, and I didn't love Punk when he came. Like, I was kind of into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, and I didn't never really thought anything of it until the All Out thing, and now I'm just like, it between that and everything that's going on, that's changed my perspective, and then also, and now I feel like it is a matter of time before something like that happens again. Like, something like that happened here. I think so. He's caused issues in WWE. He's caused issues with Colt Cabana, like everywhere. So
there's already at least ripples, right?
Right, and so I feel like
day one.
Like, I fear for the next media scrum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's gonna happen there? Is there one after Forbidden Door? Is that gonna be like a chaos show?
The first time something doesn't go that man's way.
Right, and
we'll see something.
I feel like
he can't help himself.
He'll probably get the Owen Hart tourney just to please him.
I don't think he will.
I feel like he could.
I think they're using that for up and coming people.
I don't.
Or maybe
I
just think they should.
I know they should. I don't think they will. I'm not,
like Hobbs or something instead. Is what I'm saying.
He's in QTV. I would give it to Starks, maybe.
Maybe. Anyways, we'll get around to Punk a lot. So I think it's your turn because I did the Jim Ross one. Led us down this road somehow.
Mm-hmm. Last one I had was Jeff Hardy's taking time away from AEW because they're coming to our neck of the woods, and somebody's got legal trouble.
Somebody can't cross the border into our country.
Somebody's got a wee bit too many DUIs.
Yeah, it's crazy that you have to say too many as like more than one, but yes.
Oh yeah, so I don't even know how many it is at this point.
We have no problem with not seeing the Hardys. No, so that's fine.
Especially with how Jeff's been looking lately.
Right.
Botch.
I only have two others. So one is that Moose has re-signed with Impact Wrestling. I think I talked a few weeks ago.
I heard it's like a crazy long-term deal or something.
Yeah, I didn't see specifics, but he said it's the longest deal anyone has ever signed with the company, and he is currently 39. I think that's probably...
So he's probably locked down for the rest of his tenure.
I think so.
That would make sense. He's been there for like a while, so he might as well.
I think it's a good signing for both if he's happy with whatever money he's getting.
And they treat him pretty good. Like, he's a pretty big guy for them, so like I think it works.
And whenever they need to heat him up to be a main eventer, they can, right?
Yeah.
Like, I quite like Moose, so I think that's good. The other one is not so good news, and that's Bandito apparently suffered a wrist injury at Rampage.
I saw the Takeshita match.
The first diagnosis, I'm going to go for this. Triangular fibrocartilage complex injury.
I've seen one of those.
I've just heard on other places they say it's broken, so whatever.
No, I already knew that. You didn't even need to explain it to me.
Is post-surgery recovery time up to 3 months, if that's what it is? So that was the first diagnosis. I haven't seen what the second opinion was, but that's too bad because he's awesome.
Yeah.
Although they haven't done anything with him other than put him
in
having good matches, right? So, anyways.
Yeah, that's a shame, but hopefully it's not too long. I don't know what
because he's cool.
I don't know what the deal with the broken wrist is, but
we'll see.
Yeah.
But anyways, that wraps that up. We'll move into our in-depth review of AEW Dynamite after a brief discussion of Collision that came before it, and we'll do that right about now. So Collision, I just have AEW's recap pulled up quickly, and so did you want to talk about the set? I guess that was the first thing, right?
I really liked the stage. I thought it looked really
good.
nice.
I thought
it looked big, and I thought just like the screen layout was really nice because the one on Dynamite, it's solid, but it's not good enough where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm glad they got rid of the tunnels.
Right.
Because
the tunnels
were cool. Okay.
They were cool.
I'm never gonna the tunnels were sweet. I think they were unique.
They were
cool looking
and functional.
The heel face.
Right.
Boom. But I think the Collision set was really nice. It was definitely like a lot bigger, and I just think the screen layout was really nice. They had like the kind of shiny ramp, like kind of like WWE has. So that looked really nice. It was just like a shiny black, like kind of reflective.
It looked good.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was kind of big like the Double or Nothing stage. It just with a different screen layout, but I think it looked really clean. I really liked it. They used it for ROH tapings too, so that made ROH look better.
Right.
But yeah, I just think it looked really nice. I don't know if they'll use that for every week. I would hope so because it looks really nice. But even if it's just like a first stage thing, like I would argue they could reuse that for a pay-per-view, and like if they brought that exact set for Forbidden Door, I wouldn't really care. I mean, I'd like something different, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But if they use that, I'm not complaining.
It looks pretty.
It was really nice.
Looked big time at least. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I like that. It was clean.
So the show started with Punk obviously coming out and cutting a felt pretty long promo to me. I don't know how many minutes it was, but it felt long. So to run through it a little bit, because I think this will be the only thing in detail because we'll talk about, because I think we're going to want to, right? So he comes out and says he's tired of being nice, right? He's been gone 10 months with a ruptured tendon.
Punk, good old nice guy.
Torn straight off the bone, but I'm still here. I'm gonna
be honest. Like when he was doing, I completely I keep forgetting that he was actually injured. With everything going on, I completely forgot he was injured.
Right. And that's the only reason he was gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing else.
He says this is professional wrestling business. This is a business for grown-ups. This is not a popularity contest. So circling back around, like I'm already annoyed because his talk about this is a business, it's all about business. He's the one that makes things personal and takes things personally and has succotax over a couple random things and blows it out of proportion and
literally
fights
the Hangman
people.
Line before Double Nothing. Remember when he was talking to that whole outsider thing and he got all up in arms about that?
Nobody's treating it as less of a business at times than this guy.
Yeah.
It's his own personal playground for whatever grievances and whatever he wants. So annoyed already. And yes, wrestling is really a popularity contest if you want to get down to it, right?
Isn't that exactly like the whole point?
It's exactly what it is. He's tired of being nice, and then he starts with the whole "tell me when I'm telling lies," which is probably most of this.
That really, and that's the thing that got me because, like, not only it's like I'm like, literally what I said to the TV was like, "He already told lies. We're already past the point." And then not only was it that, but then he's saying that repeatedly. Like it's more like I don't know what the repetition feels like. Like not like would that be like a dictator thing? I don't know.
It could be like his
But
mantra, like he's trying to get them to
I don't know. Yeah, it felt like some sort of mantra or whatever, but like
cult leader deal.
I think that's what I'm feeling like, because it just felt like something, right? So I think you might be on the button there, but like it just really annoyed me, because not only is it all lies, but it's just like, I don't know, just the whole thing feels so false to me, and it's like to the point where it's just it's so irritating.
If he's being a heel, it might work, because it does make me angry.
But I know he's not.
And I was just going to get to it. He starts pandering to the fans here, right? So then I did all these things and I got here to this place riding the wave, riding the backs of smart, passionate, professional wrestling fans like you.
That annoyed me. Like all the Chicago people or his fans, they're the smart ones.
And I never fit in anywhere like I have here in professional wrestling. I love you for it. And you love me because I've never compromised. I am me. I couldn't. Well, you are you, but you happens to be an a-hole, in my opinion. Obviously, only.
I'm not gonna disagree.
I couldn't have done all this without you. But it seems that he goes into Cena mode now, right? It seems there's some people that hate me for the same reason you all love me. Listen, I understand that the sheer magnitude of me makes magnitude of me people uncomfortable. So here's the narcissism that is one of the amateur diagnoses I've made for this guy. Loves himself. So my things are lack of self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
Victim complex.
Yeah.
And narcissist.
Yeah.
Are pretty much my
that all tracks.
feeling. My mere presence makes people uncomfortable. Oh my God, because I am the truth, and the truth is painful.
That's the part that gets me. That's the part that gets me, because.
And maybe this is the most brilliant promo ever, and he is working me and boiling my blood, but
I don't think so. And I don't know, because I hate those that he makes me like. I'm not uncomfortable. I'm annoyed and I'm angry, and it's not like, and it's not because he's done the truth. I hate it because he's the most phony guy there.
He is.
And he's like...
And that's not... I'm not trying to say he doesn't have a great delivery and he's not a great promo guy.
He's delivering it great and he's speaking it like comfortably and well, but...
it's infuriating.
I think it's all pure BS, and I don't know, like, and this... There's a difference between, like, I hate this and I hate the America Cody promo.
Yeah.
But that felt like just, like... I don't know, pandering, and like that was like that might, I don't know.
But that was when he was a secret heel, remember?
I don't know. Was that in the time? I think that was way before.
I felt everything he did was secret heel.
I think that was way before, but like that to me like felt like kind of character too, because he's American. I remember, but this is just like, this feels like he's actually talking to me.
Yeah.
But it's like, it feels like
just
half
poking me.
Yeah, it feels like he's like half actually talking to me and half trying to like be like the CM Punk pandering to the crowd. Like it feels so real and fake at the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense, just because that's how Punk is. Like, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Like,
boo me, cheer me, love me, hate me. You all do it because you know I'm right. David Zaslav. So here's where he worked so hard to fit in what he thought was a clever joke, right? Worked so hard, like almost worked backwards from the punchline. I feel like, right? David Zaslav calls me One Bill Phil. You can call me whatever you want. I am the one true genuine article in a business full of counterfeit bucks. Ooh.
No.
Right? So I feel like he worked backwards from, right? The king is back, baby, and do I have a lot of things to get off my chest? I got a question, Chicago. Why would I change? This is what Joe Strummer trained me for. I will never compromise. And there's the people that think they're owed an apology. So again, he has nothing to apologize for. He is the victim of everything.
Yep.
Everything happens to him, and he does not perpetrate anything. I've grown older and wiser in my years. If you feel you're owed an apology and you're here tonight, I am sorry that the only people softer than you are the wrestlers you like. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Going after Hangman again.
So again, but remember, it's business. It's not personal. But I'm going to take a personal shot at the Bucks. I'm going to take a thinly veiled shot at Hangman, but it's business. And they're all just soft, and I'm the tough one who just cares about business. No, dude. All lies.
It's so, like,
all
it's so
lies.
Reversed. It's so annoying.
It's almost done. The last time you saw me with my triceps meat hanging down, I held what is in this bag. Don't care. Do not care what's in the bag.
Bullshit.
Couldn't care.
I don't... Okay, wait. So I saw someone say, like, obviously, we're meant to think it's the title, right?
I believe so.
But
I don't know if... we'll see, I guess. I'm not convinced.
Okay, so the only way he has the title, obviously, is if they give him like a replica one, or obviously, like I saw someone say, "Oh, it's the title he never lost because MJF has a different belt."
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Moxley had
Right,
the
it's still-
Burberry belt?
right.
Like, no. So they cleared. Obviously, like they took the belt from him, and I feel like they kind of have no way he left after All Out with the belt, but like. I don't know. The whole idea that he still has a belt is just kind of stupid to me, and I guess
I just don't care.
I guess with the interim nonsense, they set the precedent that they do indeed have two of the same belt.
True.
But like, yeah, I don't care because like, and now, because they have the history too, so like they're gonna have to reignite Punk MJF at some point, and I swear to God, so help me God, if CM Punk wins the title for a third time for no reason, I'm gonna be so mad. That might make me get out. I'll get out.
So he introduces the bag and wraps up by saying, "It's mine because he earned it. I won the dog collar match. It belongs to me until someone can pin me or submit me for it."
So is it a dog collar? Like,
those of you are praying that I'm gonna put these boots down in the ring and walk off into the sunset. I don't think anyone thought that was a possibility, but sure, bud.
I was dreaming,
but
sure.
Until there is somebody in this company that can fill my boots, they belong to me. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Well, virtually all of this.
Virtually 100% of that.
So yeah, just like this is CM Punk, right? This is why I will admit some of his stuff was super entertaining. The stuff with Cena really reignited me liking wrestling.
I liked a lot of the MJF feud as well.
But this is who he is, right? Everything comes through the filter of Punk, and everything is an attack against him, and everything he does is always justified because he's the victim of something. So everything he ever does is simply retaliation, and it's never his fault.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a promo that's so real and so fake at the same time.
Right.
Like,
this is him.
Hated every bit of it. Yeah, and it's all him, and that's the real part, but then that's also the fake part of it, right? Like,
unless he's a heel, and then he's got me, I guess. Because I hate it.
He could be, but like he's so clearly not at the same time.
I know.
There's like I don't think he would ever want to be now because he's like everyone loves me, and especially in Chicago, like
he may be positioning himself as a tweener, right? I guess like he's pandering to this crowd in his hometown. I don't know if he'll continue to.
I think he'll try.
Anyways,
but I don't think it's because he would be an effective heel or whatever. I think it's because he screwed up a lot and he did a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, so that's I don't know.
And that I hated that. This got Collision off to a bad start for me. And honestly, I expected this.
Yeah.
I expected a Punk promo, but still I hated it so much. And
it felt so long to me.
It felt way too long and too long of stuff I don't want. And like
speaking of too long, wait till I get to the main event.
Yeah. If this is this is why I didn't want Collision. It's just gonna be Punk every week. Doing something that I don't care about, that I don't want to see. Possibly twice.
Right.
Like I don't want it, and I didn't want him back, and I don't know how he came back, but it's just I hate it so much.
I wasn't a fan either. Then we got TNT Championship match. I was very surprised. We did get the title change hands here.
I was also surprised.
Was not expecting that. The match itself was okay. I don't think you saw this, right?
No.
And I don't really remember. I'm sure it was the ringside camera grabbed it from a photographer and smashed Wardlow in the face with it.
I knew he hit Wardlow with something.
So yeah, Luchasaurus wins. I don't know. Maybe they're just furthering this feud or recognizing that Wardlow's kind of cold, man. And not that Luchasaurus is lighting the world on fire, but it's different.
I mean, his Trons have fire on him.
And Christian can be entertaining in the role as the manager of the champion.
I swear to God, if they hot potato the belt again, I'm gonna lose my crap.
Feels like that might be what that title's for.
Wardlow cannot have the title for a fourth time. Like, this has to be it. We have to draw the line somewhere with him.
We had Lexi Nair backstage talking to Hobbs and Marshall about Hobbs being in the Owen Hart tournament. Okay, sure. The highlight of the show for me was the singles match between Andrade and Buddy Matthews.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Really good match, as you would expect, right? What was the finish? I know Brody King came. The lights went out at the end, right?
Yeah, that was after the match.
What did he win with? Buddy tapped, right? It was the figure 8.
Oh, figure 8. Yeah.
Andrade.
It's a cool, unique move.
They each used their significant other's submissions, right? Because Buddy used the inverted cloverleaf as well.
Yeah.
Cool match. What you would think? Like we talked about it in the moment. Andrade's Judas effect, he can't be on the same show as Jericho because
it's so much better.
so
Especially
much
like
better.
Murphy's really good at selling too.
It was amazing.
So I think that was a great combination.
Really good match. Then you saw this too, and I was happy to see it. A hype package for Scorpio Sky, which was nice to see. I thought it was good. I don't know.
I want Men of the Year back so bad because Scorp needs something to do. Ethan Page needs something good to do.
Right.
Like I would love. They were so good together.
Tony Nese then got squashed by Miro. I know you're not so keen on Miro. I still enjoy watching him.
I like him.
It's
just I feel like the hype is died down on him. Like, or not like the hype, but just like his aura has kind of died down, and like I feel like he's a solid performer, but I don't think he's got as much upward mobility as everyone once thought.
I just think it's tough because anytime you book a guy as super mega dominant like this, then it's harder. I don't know. It's harder to say what he does against legitimate talent.
Right. That's part of it.
I do
for
watching
me.
him squash people.
He is pretty good at squashing people, and he can have a solid match sometimes. But like with him looking too dominant, then you either have like a squash or you have like someone like almost getting lucky, like Fuego del Sol, right? Like I don't know. Miro just is like he's great, and I do like him a decent bit, but I feel like he's just missing something. So I don't think he's gonna like. I don't know what they can do with him. Like that's gonna be like super main card.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know?
He might just be a regular on Collision, and that's it.
Yeah.
But anyways, he won with the game over, obviously, in a squash match. We got a women's tag match. Willow and Sky Blue defeated the Outcasts, which was Soho and Storm. Spray paint malfunctioning. Babyface is finally one step ahead, and it forces Tony to spray Ruby Soho in the eyes, and then Sky hits the code blue. Pinned her. It was fine, right? Nothing crazy. Then we had Starks declare himself into the Owen Hart tournament. Fine. Jeff Jarrett video package. Who cares? Shivani interviewed the Acclaimed. Caster did a rap on the way out. They had a segment in the ring. Sure, fine. And then the main event, man, was just far too long. Like, was it a good match? Probably. Did I struggle to stay focused? Absolutely. It was like 25 minutes, I would say, something like that.
That's nuts.
And honestly, CM Punk, I didn't find in that 25 minutes was in the ring a ton. Didn't look amazing. The crowd was super into a confrontation with Punk and Samoa Joe, that's for sure. So
I saw Punk with like an orange elbow pouch, which was kind of weird.
So good action throughout this. Obviously, nothing wrong with it. I just thought it was really, really long. I don't even remember what the finish. They hit the. Who took the pin tonight? I don't even remember,
Juice.
to be honest. Oh, right. Of course
Obviously.
It was Juice. Yes, he took the big rig and the smash contraption.
Shatter machine.
The shatter machine and the go to sleep, I believe, for the loss. But yeah, good match, but like didn't need 25 minutes. Just there wasn't enough build around it. If you want to go 25 minutes on a pay-per-view once there's been a story and a whole bunch of stuff happening and it's culminating, fine, but like throw these guys together and away you
they
go,
don't
right?
really have a story, right? It was mostly just like
far too long.
Punk's back.
But a solid match, I guess. All right, so let's shift gears into good old Dynamite now that we've talked Collision.
Are we just going? We're just going.
Go right into it. I
All
did
right.
one song for both. You know, you get
All
2
right.
for 1 today, folks.
All right.
I'm not pausing it.
All right. So we kick off with the Hardys versus the Guns, and it's always a good sign when the Hardys are opening Dynamite.
And that's what. So on paper, I'm not happy with this. We'll get into my reaction when it happens, but initially I'm like, ugh, really? This is my hot opener?
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead.
So Hardys ran back some of their typical offense because that's going to be every match. Jeff actually hit Whisper in the Wind on Austin this time.
He did.
He didn't botch it, although it looked a little shaky. Colton stomped Jeff in the corner. Matt Hardy hot tag flurry. We're in 2023. What is this madness? Twist of Fate center from Matt for 2. Colton put Austin's leg on the rope, and Austin sold the crap out of that, so props to him.
Yep.
Colton saved Austin from a twist of fate, then Colton hit a butterfly neckbreaker kind of move for 2 with Jeff breaking up the pin. That was pretty nice. Jeff did the double groin leg drop, and then he got up as slow as he possibly could and hit a basement drop kick, and I wrote in brackets, he's definitely old.
He is.
The finish, I wrote finally. Did I do that on the other? I did. Okay, whatever. Finish. Jeff went for a swanton. Juice Robinson ran and distracted the ref. Jay White shoved Jeff off the top rope. Guns hit Jeff with a pretty nice 310 to Yuma.
They did.
For the win. Post match, Bullet Club Gold and the Guns beat up the Hardys. Later on to Matt. Juice clocked Jeff with a roll of quarters punch again. That was pretty nice. They went to that to Matt, but Starks tried to make the save. Got overwhelmed. After run out, also get overtaken. Then CM Punk comes out.
Hooray,
and
on
now
Dynamite.
Everything's all right, and he's on Dynamite. Poor Juice almost took another DTS, but he got out of it this time, so good for him. Punk says he's been watching for weeks, challenges them to a tag match on Collision. Hooray.
Yeah, so while this wasn't anything I was excited about, especially as an opener, I actually quite like this, and I think it served a purpose, right? And the crowd was definitely into it, which helped. I thought the crowd was pretty good tonight. Thought it was a solid match that felt the perfect length, right? You're not asking too much of the Hardys. I thought the Guns used really good heel tactics throughout this kind of classic stuff. You got each of the Hardys got a decent flurry in. The Guns still got a lot of offense, I thought. Involvement of Bullet Club and others is going to lead to a match, I guess. And I like the idea that Bullet Club seem like they're involved with the Guns, but we haven't been confirmed that they're in it. I thought the finishing 310 to Yuma looked really good. I don't think it was a super hot opener, but I would say it over-delivered for me. And I'm going to say it, and I think you've already said it or were close to saying it. I think I like the Guns, and I don't have an issue with them in Bullet Club. So this over-delivered. I thought it was like a good pro wrestling match that furthered some stories.
Yeah, I thought it was a fine opener. It's never a great omen if the Hardys are involved in the opener. It doesn't scream hot start. However, I think the Guns put in some great work here. They sold and bumped for the Hardys pretty good. They had some nice heel techniques in there, classic heel tag shtick. I like the finish too, furthering the alliance between Bullet Club Gold and the Guns. Just need the Guns to full on join Bullet Club Gold, and all is well. I think it has some good potential, and yeah, I think I do kind of like the Guns now in some weird way. I think the tag title run kind of irked me a little because it was a really weird choice. But I think now that they're not unnecessarily tag champs and their character work's getting a little better, and they could join up with two already good heels, and
they're the beatable tag team in a heel faction. That's a role.
And Juice, and then I think they could also level up in there.
Agree. Level up.
But yeah, I think there's potential in there. Punk turning up on Dynamite is not thrilling or appealing in the slightest, but hopefully it's just because they're still in Chicago. 8-man tag for Collision sounds solid, more appealing than the random 6-man in the first Collision because there's a bit more of a story. And also say bye to Jeff for a while because AEW is going to be in Canada for a decent bit, and unfortunately he can't get over. Might explain their inclusion on this Dynamite.
Yeah, that could be true.
It's their last hurrah until end of July.
Right. Oh yeah, extended run in Canada.
Yeah, I think they're in here until July 19th, so like latter July they'll probably be back in
Jeff Hardy.
The US of A. Next is a Jarrett Lethal promo. They gave Briscoe plenty of chance to do the right thing. Now they have to end this. Concession stand brawl coming up next. This is fine. Don't have interest. Match next.
Why this stipulation was my only note.
I don't think it's a horrible stipulation. I think they just did it horribly.
But is there a reason that they would choose a concession stand? Was there food involved somewhere? Okay. I just out of all of the countless options.
I think the most logical stipulation, and I think we would all
loser leaves town.
Okay, I would like that the most, but I think the one we would actually like the most is a guitar on a pole match.
For sure.
Or a guitar ladder match.
King of the Mountain.
Actually,
Reverse Battle Royal. I don't know.
A King of the Mountain guitar match?
Yes. Where combine all of Jarrett's gimmicks together.
First, you have to jump into the ring. And so we'll spend 5 minutes or so of them trying to get into the ring. So it'll be a Reverse Battle Royal combined with a King of the Mountain combined with a guitar on a pole match.
Exactly.
You have to climb a ladder to hang a guitar on a pole, not in the middle of the ring, on a pole. And then, but before that, you have to climb back into the ring.
And because Briscoe can win, beating Jarrett in all of his gimmicks, it's a big push for him.
But then you have to combine it with the last rights match, so then you have to get another guitar from the ring, and the first person to put the guitar in the casket and raise the casket up gets the win.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there any other TNA stipulations I'm missing? And if you get pinned, you get put in a penalty box.
Yeah, there has to be a penalty box for sure.
Actually, no. If I take it back. Okay, here's how this goes. All right, we're gonna start over here.
Oh boy.
Here's how it goes.
Yeah.
So first, you have to get into the ring where we'll have two guitars in the ring, right? So first, you have to get in the ring. It's Reverse Battle Royal, and they're gonna spend way too long stopping each other from getting in the ring. Even though it's super simple. Okay, we're gonna spend way too much time on that. Then, when they're both in the ring, the first thing you have to do is get a ladder and climb to hang a guitar on a pole.
Right.
That's the first fall. We'll say this is the best 2 or 3 situation. And then the second fall is I think the last rights bit where you have to put a guitar in a casket and raise the casket up.
Nice.
And we'll say if there's any interference, they go in the penalty box.
Right.
And then for the third fall, what's another stupid TNA thing? I need I need one more. We're missing.
What? I mean, Ultimate
what's-
X isn't stupid. It's kind of cool, but it's theirs.
Elevation X. Aha! Okay, so there's also gonna be an Elevation X where you have to climb on top of the Elevation X. You know, like where they're on top of the scaffolding. Then the only way to win that fall is to hit someone with a guitar and throw them off.
Nice.
So there's 3 guitars actually. I made a mistake.
Jeff Jarrett is the favorite.
So yeah, that's what we call you know how Raven has like the Raven's Clockwork Orange House of Fun?
Yes.
This is Jeff Jarrett's Carney
House of Gimmicks.
Fun. Carney House of Gimmicks.
Nice.
I should make that match.
But
that
instead,
sounds fun.
We get a concession stand.
I personally think that's the greatest idea ever.
Write that down.
They should do that. That's so much better.
Listen back to it and write it down later.
We went from a guitar and a pole match to a half over the top, half reverse battle royal, half King of the Mountain, half last rites.
How many halves you got in this?
Okay, quarter.
There you go.
Quarter reverse battle royal, King of the Mountain, last rites, Elevation X guitar match. That's
sounds good.
Awesome. That's so great.
Okay.
Anyways,
digression.
That's probably my favorite digression. I should do that match I don't have a guitar accessory though. I need what is it? What was it? Three guitars. Yeah.
Yep.
And I need to build an Ultimate, or sorry, not an Ultimate X, Elevation X.
Right.
Ultimate X is the cool one. Elevation X is the dumb one.
Although Ultimate X, when we were in person, felt like it was like 8 feet in the air, and they could have just jumped up and grabbed it at any point. But anyway,
that would be probably the least dangerous. If they did an Elevation X on that you could tumble on that and you wouldn't get injured.
Okay, get going.
Next we have Jeff Jarrett. I accidentally spelled with 1 R. My mistake. Isn't his famous thing is that there's 2 R's, 2 T's, and 2 F's.
I believe that is part of it.
My mistake. Jeff Jarrett, Mark Briscoe, concession stand brawl. Odd choice.
Yep.
Yeah. Jarrett threw a popcorn bag at Briscoe before the bell rang. That was basic brawling around the concourse. Briscoe sent Jarrett into a table. He propped against a pillar that like barely broke. It was like that botched spot at Mania 35 in the women's 3-way where they put Charlotte through the table and like it bent.
Right.
It didn't break. It just bent. That was like this because it was like it was propped against a pillar, but it's kind of round the pillar, so it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of an odd choice. Briscoe poured mustard on Jarrett and threw some hot dogs, and they brought around the popcorn cart. Karen Jarrett interferes, disguised as a worker. Oh my God! Squirts ketchup into Mark's face.
How did you know it was Karen Jarrett? Commentary had no idea.
I'm just smart.
That
I'm
bugged
smarter.
me. That really bugged me. Who is that? What do you mean? Who is that?
Yeah.
Who do you think it is?
It's like when remember there was the Masked Sting guy, but then it was Price's Cole Carter. That makes sense because who would know it's Cole Carter?
Right.
But like this is like
it couldn't have been anyone but Karen Jarrett.
Yeah.
And you're trying to act like you don't know who it is.
Literally had to be Karen Jarrett.
Yeah.
Mark looked at dive off the ladder, put Jarrett through a table. Jarrett moved. Santo Dutt shoved Mark off. Actually, I didn't know who shoved him off. It was some random person.
Right. Who could it be?
Put Mark through the table. When we come back from the commercial break, Jarrett's peeps are being marked down in the ring. I thought it was supposed to be contestant Jan Brawl, but my mistake. Papa Briscoe interferes, choke slams Lethal through a timekeeper's table.
As you do.
Clotheslines Jarrett and Dutt. Gets a low blow from some mysterious woman. Oh, wait, it's Karen Jarrett again.
Who could it be?
Some bizarre giant guy comes down. I wasn't sure
who
it was. Oh, it's Saddam Singh. Okay, and choke slams Mark. Then Best Friends and Christopher Daniels run out for some reason. Take out Singh. Lucha Bros come in to assist. And Penta hits Jarrett with a super kick. And Mark rolls him up for the win. What?
Yeah, Jack is literally shaking his head as he went over the finish there. I know there's people that thought this was fun and the crowd was pretty into it, but I'm not one of those people. There's just the most positive thing I can say is that it didn't drag on too long. I think this was like 8 or 9 minutes, so that is not terrible, but
still felt long.
Just way too much going on with way too many run-ins. Like you basically listed half of the locker room coming out at some point, it feels like. Too much silliness for me. Briscoe's dad dominating a bunch of pro wrestlers doesn't make sense. I can't suspend my disbelief as much as they want me to, and maybe that's on me because apparently a lot of people can, but I can't. So this felt to me like they gave Jeff Jarrett control and said, hey, how do you want to do this? And this is what he came up with. And my final note here is it's rare that I dislike something on AEW this much. I did not like this.
It was pretty bad. I thought I was expecting I didn't really want this, but I was expecting something at least somewhat fun.
It seems off-brand for Briscoe too.
Yeah.
In a way, like you're throwing hot dogs at each other and spraying mustard and stuff. Like that's Jarrett for sure. I don't feel that that's Briscoe, but anyways.
Yeah, I didn't love this. I thought it started out fine because the concession stand area was at least like a different spot for a match. But then Jarrett's crew interfered and we went back to the ring, so it wasn't even different from any other match, and it got stupid. And we started getting a bunch of other random interferences. Honestly, I'm surprised we didn't see Aubrey get involved again because
right.
That would have at least helped with Karen Jarrett.
Who could it be? It's a female ref. Who could it be?
It felt like dumb chaos for chaos' sake rather than like the good chaos kind of thing we got at the end of last week.
Right. That's well said.
Overbooked TNA stuff.
It felt like TNA or bad WCW.
Yeah.
Like the bad eras of either one of those. Where Impact, like, I'll always say Impact is willing to try stuff, but a lot of it they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe. But anyways.
Papa Briscoe taking out anyone is ridiculous. And I thought Satnam Singh looked worse than usual. Like, he looked so immobile when he was swatting off Best Friends and Daniels. Like, he looked like Great Khali there in the worst way possible. Stupid overbooked nonsense here. This is why I'm glad the majority of this feud has been on Rampage, because I couldn't care less about this, and I don't enjoy whatsoever. This was lame and
I
kind
agree.
of a waste of time.
Not a fan. This could go on the list of things I didn't like.
True. I don't know if it's like worst match material, but
I struggle with bad matches sometimes, so I might add it in there.
That's true. It's a good pick, at least. Next, we got Blackpool promo, also with Takeshita and Callis. Mox says they define pro wrestling in 2023, and for Forbidden Door, they've put together an elite team with Blackpool, Takeshita, and Shota Umino to take on the elite and whoever they get with them. And he says the dream match will turn into a nightmare where when the Rainmaker falls to the best in the world. CM Punk?
No.
Danielson says he doesn't even think Okada's here, and people call him the best of a generation, but when he steps in the ring with Danielson, he's just an amateur, and if he doesn't show up later when he calls him out, he'll prove he's a coward.
Yeah. I just had not much. I said standard well-delivered stuff by both because it was all Mox and Danielson, right? Just a simple way to clarify their match at Forbidden Door, and I assume at the time, and I won't spoil it, but I thought they were foreshadowing an appearance by Okada, obviously, right?
Thought it was pretty obvious.
And I think Takeshita looks cool just standing there with the group, looking heelish, right? So I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sweet promo from Mox and Danielson. There's always 10-man tag, sounds pretty sweet. Takeshita looks cool as hell here. I don't know why, but he looks sick. Heel Takeshita is it. And yeah, I figured Okada was coming.
Yep.
And I feel like Danielson and Okada, their match is the one, like, and I said this in my predictions, but it's the one that's the most up in the air for me in terms of the result.
Yes.
Because I feel like, and I said this in there, so I'll probably say a similar thing again. But like, to me, like the fact that it's like just purely a dream match and it's just like to see who's the best. It's like there's this air like that because it's just like this dream match that's happening. Like the build's not leaning towards anyone.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And there's no like clear indicator that like, oh yeah, one of them's winning.
And there's a lot of them for me when we get to it. In this match, because there's no championship on the line, because sometimes that makes it a lot easier, right? Because it's like they're not sending their title to
I even think in
America.
some cases, in some really good cases, like obviously Omega Ospreay here, I think the title like
it could
move,
yes.
right? And I think I'm not gonna say that,
but a lot of them
no. But like like Sonata isn't losing his title. Cassie, I don't think is losing. Not to spoil my picks, obviously, which I kind of am, but like. Yeah, so no title, and the fact that it's like a dream match purely off of just that build, like I do like that there's this air of like it genuinely could be either of them.
Yeah.
So like picking it was a tough time.
Because as you know, I actually prepared for the predictions today, and this is one that even in my little explanation, I'm on the fence about.
That's literally what I was writing. I could see either, and I did eventually make a pick, but we'll talk about that later.
I think. I may change it still.
I could switch it. Yeah, I'm like honestly, depending on what you say, I could easily be convinced to switch it. Like I don't. There's a very good chance I'm like. Oh yeah, I'll go to Okada or Danielson or whatever. I'll pick a draw or something like either or. But yeah. Then there's Collision highlights, which we basically did.
Yep, we covered it.
So no.
They highlighted things, we watched it.
And also no thank you.
Yep.
Jericho, Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki versus Action Andretti, AR Fox, and Darius Martin is next. And I remember at one point commentary was saying like that's a crazy team or something, the Suzuki and the Jazz people.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we literally saw this last year for Indoor, which I thought was funny because it's like, no, we saw this last year.
And 2/3
Who did Shota Umino
2/3 of them are not in their prime either, right? So
what do you mean Sammy Guevara's in his prime?
Sammy Guevara is in his prime. I'm
just curious. I don't remember who they were facing. Because I remember that was the Shota Uno match. Because I remember they attacked him afterwards.
Right.
But I'm trying to find. Okay, all right. Where is it? Eddie Kingston, Shota Uno, and Wheeler Yuta. Oh my God, it's like I think that's Blackpool Yuta, but like not. That might be. No, I think it's Blackpool Yuta because why else would he be in there? Yeah, that's so weird. Wait. What? What? Swerve in Our Glory beat Suzuki-gun, which is Desperado and some other guy. Was that on? That had to be the pre-show, right?
I don't know.
That had to be that's because I don't remember that whatsoever. Yeah, okay, it was. I was gonna say I don't remember that at all. Sorry, I'm just looking at the card because it's like that was a while ago. Oh my god, dudes, the attitudes. Remember when it was Darby Allin, Sting, and Shingo Takagi?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ELP and the Bucks were Bullet Clubbed out. I remember that. I thought they teamed with Hikuleo because I think they were going to.
What are you doing right now?
I'm just looking at last year's card. It's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ospreay Cassidy. That was nice.
That was my favorite match.
IWGP four-way. The concussion match.
Right.
What was the other? Oh yeah, there was on the pre-show. Was it pre-show? I think. Remember it was Gun Club and the Guns. Or sorry, Caster and Gun Club because Bowens. Sorry, Acclaimed. Caster and Gun Club. And they were facing all the LA Dojo guys. It was Yamura, Coughlin, DKC, and Kevin Knight. No, Clark Connors was in
He had a singles match, right?
No, Clark Connors was in the Atlantic four-way.
Oh, that's right.
He was replacing Ishii.
Yep.
So yeah, there was that, and then FTR. I remember they won the 2 titles.
Yep.
That was neat. Rosa Storm. Okay. Oh, okay. Storm was in the title match last year too. That's interesting.
Stuff that wasn't a year ago. Carry on.
That's interesting. Lance Archer, Nick Camarado.
Yep.
That's funny. Anywho, the point is, this team happened last year. It's happening here, and it's happening in Forbidden Door.
Right.
So it's not that interesting. So Guevara and Andretti had a nice brief back and forth. I guess calling back bit to their Rampage matches. I think they had a couple. There was at least one. Suzuki and Darius tagged in. Darius chops and forearms. Suzuki no effect. Then Darius gets dropped with a single forearm from Suzuki because he's hard as nails.
They do look stiff too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Darius sold him nice too. There's a springboard close into Jericho from Andretti. Then a shotgun dropkick to send Jericho into the turnbuckles. Guevara hit a double diving cutter to take out Darius and Andretti. Corner chops to Fox from Jericho. Fox hit the implosion senton on Guevara on the outside. Springboard and Sagiri and a running shooting star press from Andretti gets a 2-count on Jericho. Standing Spanish fly from Guevara. Then Fox hit him with a super kick and a corkscrew brainbuster. Then Fox takes a gotch pile driver from Suzuki. Darius rolls up Jericho with an O'Connor roll for 2. Then goes to the apron. Comes back in the rope step flatliner for 2, which is pretty nice. And Darius got caught by Jericho and tapped to the Lion Tamer.
Yeah.
And then after Jericho was talking about Sting, and something about that, and then Sting came out and also said things. I'm just generalizing it because I don't care. Sting and Darby have a partner. They're going to reveal it on Collision.
Right.
That's the gist of it.
Yeah, the match was slow early on when the heels were in control, and then it sort of picked up with Andretti getting in out of, I think it was coming off a commercial. And I thought it ended up being pretty fun. A cool combination of youth and speed with veterans kind of looking to keep things a bit slower and strikes and stuff. The result was never in doubt in this, and it felt kind of random, but I enjoyed the match for what it was. I expected a bit more of the Jericho-Sammy story. That really the only thing, right, was Sammy didn't tag Jericho in early on and chose to tag in Suzuki instead. But it looks like they'll save the official turn for Forbidden Door. I assume that's what happens
or at
in
least,
that match.
I'm predicting at least more Descent.
Yeah, I think it's a vehicle for that. And that match on Forbidden Door feels a bit like filler. It's not one of the ones I'm really looking forward to on an impressive card, but I think it'll be more storyline for the Jazz splintering, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty fun TV match.
It was.
I actually kind of liked it.
Me too.
It was pretty solid. I thought nothing of great substance, but there was some fun action. I thought it really picked up nicely at the end. I thought there was a nice frenzy of stuff. The finish was alright as well. Jericho's promo was fine after, but of course it's hindered by the fact that I have zero interest in at all of ever seeing Sting face Jericho in any capacity in AEW in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
That is so unappealing. I can't stress that enough. That's not something that's appealing at all. Sting and Darby were fine here too, but again, no thank you. Some mystery around the partner, I guess that's cool then. Something for Collision. I just don't really care. Why is Sting still wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
Next we get Shivani and RJC drawing the first team for the blind eliminator. The bracket will be revealed next week. They draw 2 names. They don't even tell us.
Yeah, this bugged me. First of all, RJ City's facial expressions I thought were obnoxious and made this feel like cartoony to me, which is
Yeah.
pretty annoying. And yeah, picking the names and looking at them and going, oh yeah, that's a name and that's a name, and then not telling us. Why do this at all? I don't understand. I thought this was dumb.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an odd choice.
Yes.
But they will tell us later, so I
They
guess
will.
that's a
That's
little
the
worth
point.
it.
But then I don't know. Just say the names were drawn earlier. I don't know. I don't think we needed this bit here.
Yeah. Next there's an elite promo in response to Blackpool. Hangman says they saw the challenge, and again the Blackpool want to use Blackpool BCC. They want to use the numbers advantage because Kenny's tied up. I guess Danielson is too. Kenny says everyone is against them, but a lot of people hate Blackpool too, and they found an ally. Eddie Kingston pops in, says he's in their friend, and he makes reference to the exploding death match.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice. He says he doesn't like them, but he hates Claudio more, and he says their fifth man will be someone he picks. And he might not trust them, but it'll be someone he trusts more than the elite.
I found that all the involvement with Eddie Kingston this week, that it's so awkward that he's being paired with this group, and he's trying so hard to explain and make it clear that I'm not their friend, because I think he feels like, why would I be working with these guys? And he's trying too hard to explain it away, right? And I think it made because he's arguably my favorite promo guy there is, and I thought he was a bit off this week, and I feel like it's because it's like, I feel I have to acknowledge the exploding death match, and I have to acknowledge this because I shouldn't be with these guys. I thought it made it awkward, and he didn't sound like he usually does. But anyways.
I thought it sounded pretty normal.
Yeah, that's okay. We can disagree.
I hate. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was solid. I like the callback. I was intrigued with the mystery partner, but with Eddie choosing it, that rules out Ibushi.
It does.
I thought it would be because
I think it does, anyways.
Well, I don't think Eddie would choose
Me
Ibushi.
either.
Obviously, we know he did.
But I wouldn't think he'd join with them either. So all kinds of crazy stuff's happening.
I guess. Well, I don't think it's. I think it's just.
So the whole idea,
just temporary though.
And he keeps having to go like, but I hate Claudio more than I hate you, so I'm with you. But you do? This is a well-established thing.
It's from ROH.
I know, and this is what's bugging me because he's having to try so hard to explain why he'd be with a group of people that tried to kill him. Like literally tried to kill him multiple times.
Actually, they didn't try to kill him. They tried to kill Mox, and Eddie chose to go in there.
Whatever. And then so I don't know. It doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. The whole like I hate Claudio enough to join with you guys doesn't work for me. Isn't connecting with me.
Well, I think it's just a one-time thing, so I'm good with it. I don't expect them like teaming with Blood and Guts or anything.
True.
So I don't know. I would go the 4 Elite and Ibushi against Blackpool and Takeshita still.
Yeah, he could.
Just like, where's Ibushi? He can't be doing nothing. I refuse to accept this. And now I'm just grasping at any way you can get Ibushi in here. I don't even love Ibushi. I like Ibushi, but I don't love him or anything.
Yeah, he's
I just think it makes the most sense. It'd be really cool if he comes in.
It would.
So I'm just going off of that. I'm not even the biggest Ibushi fan, and I'm just trying to get him in. Like, just do the thing.
Appreciate it.
I
like Ibushi.
I like Ospreay. So, yeah.
Keep going.
Next we get Adam Commander Cole. He gave Max props for
big crowd reaction for him. It was nice to see.
He gave Max props for giving him one of the toughest matches of his career. He said he didn't win, but MJF didn't win either. And Cole said that MJF wants to be known as the greatest AEW World Champion of all time. Then MJF has to fight whoever challenges him. Cole spoke about how MJF hasn't beaten Adam Cole, baby. And Cole he called out MJF to talk about a rematch. Then he came out. He insulted the fans by telling them to keep their poor mouths shut. He said that he was worried about Cole for suffering blows to the head last week. And Cole lost track of time last week. MJF claimed that he had the time not run out. He had Cole beat, and then he said no to rematch. That was pretty funny. Cole said, of course, MJF would say no to him. He suggested a fight right here, and he can whip his ass right in Chicago. Then Shivani spoke up, announcing the first 2 names in the blind tag tournament are them, and they both told him to shut up, which was pretty funny.
It was.
They both complained about it. Tony said they are a tag team. MJF whined about having wrestle every week, and then Tanahashi did a promo on the Tron, saying like MJF should accept the challenge, and Cole called him a coward and said he thinks Tanahashi's better than him, so he wouldn't accept it, and so MJF accepted the match at Forbidden Door, and Cole said, "Good luck, partner."
Yeah, that was funny. That was a good ending line. I enjoyed this segment. there's not much chance I'm not going to enjoy a speaking segment between Cole and MJF. I kind of like Cole getting the better of MJF because it's obviously going to set MJF off, and that'll be an entertaining scenario, right? So, the tag team thing is obviously super convenient and whatever, but it is a way to like further the MJF Cole angle, and it also gives you some star power in the blind eliminator. So I thought this was useful.
I thought this was pretty good. I think I liked their first segment together a little more, but I think I enjoyed this a lot too. MJF declining the rematch because he's concerned about Cole's well-being.
Right.
He almost had Cole beat was pretty amusing. And I also love the bit where they both told Shivani to shut up because I think that was a nice callback. And it should be funny because I forgot like that was Cole's whole shtick because he was from the Baker. So he hated Shivani like when he was heel. So and that's been kind of downplayed until now. So I like that they didn't forget about that, and that was kind of a nice callback there. It worked for both of them now, and that was funny. Cole and MJF teaming the blind tourney is another one of those like coexisting angles that's kind of convenient.
Can they coexist?
But I think it works.
Me
and
too.
It furthers that feud like nicely, and I think they can do it well. And so I'm interested actually. It's some intrigue going to that tournament, and like you said, some star power. MJF Tanahashi being confirmed is expected, but that's nice as well. Next week at the Owen Hart brackets confirmed. So first I'll go run through the men's, then the women's, and then we'll talk about my thoughts on these brackets. Would you mind pulling up last year's brackets if you can find them, just like for a comparison while I rhyme these off? For the men's, we have Punk versus Satoshi Kojima at Forbidden Door. Yeah.
Yep.
Roddy versus Samoa Joe at Collision in Hamilton. That sounds pretty nice. Hobbs versus Dustin Rhodes at Collision in Hamilton, and Juice versus Starks 3, I guess, at Collision in Hamilton. And then women's will be a Baker versus Soho on next week's Dynamite, and a JAS versus Sky Blue on Rampage, which would have been yesterday. Nyla Rose versus Willow at Collision tonight, as of the time of recording. And Athena versus Billy Starks tomorrow on Forbidden Door's 0 hour.
So Sky Blue won, right?
Sky Blue won, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, she's already... I'm looking at the bracket now, so she's moved on.
Did you get last year's?
Yep.
Okay. So what was, like, just, like, the first round matches?
First round women's was Bunny Storm, Hater Blue, Britt Baker versus Danielle Camella, Riho Sakazaki, sorry. Ruby Soho, Robin Renegade, Red Velvet, Willow Nightingale, Sheeta, Julia Hart.
Okay, so the women's bracket's not as strong as I remember it being. I take it back. Wait, how many matches, like how many people were in that one?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14.
14, really?
And then Maki Ito got through a bye in the first round.
Okay, so that makes sense. So it would have
been 16, but same with the men's.
Okay, so it's half the size. Okay, so what was the men's last year then?
So men's you
had bigger than I remember then. I remember Kyle O'Reilly and Joe doing a match at some point.
Men's you had Max Caster, Samoa Joe.
Okay, that's
Dante Martin, Ray Phoenix.
Ooh, yeah.
Johnny Elite got a bye in the first round to face Samoa Joe in the second.
That's weird.
Because they were one person short as well. O'Reilly, Jungle Boy, Cole, Ishii.
Okay.
Harwood, Wheeler, Strickland, Allen.
Yeah, the FTR match.
Strickland, Allen, and Fish Hardy.
Swerve Darby?
Yeah.
Damn. See, like, okay, so that's one of my things is, so these brackets are fine, not as good as last year, I think, but some questionable choices for sure, like having Billy Starks or Sky Blue in the women's one, or worse, putting AJ against Sky Blue, which thank God that's on Rampage.
I feel like Sky Blue could win it.
I disagree. I feel like you could either do Baker again or you do Soho.
I've heard people saying Billy Starks is going to upset Athena, and then that'll spin into a feud on ROH.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And then so the men's, like, Punk versus Kojima is really questionable because Kojima's old, so he's not bringing a banger out of also aging Punk. Like, I do hate Punk, but if he was going to have a good match, like, I would at least, like, be open to watching it. Like, I would watch it, right? But, like, Punk Kojima does not sound appealing to me. You know what I mean?
And
like,
do you want to get to Punk Samoa Joe as part of this tournament? Because that feels like a draw to me, and that would be the second round match if they each win.
I feel like that's probably likely. And on that note, including Dustin Rhodes is also an odd call. The only match that I really like is Roddy and Samoa Joe.
That should be sweet.
Out of the whole tournament. And Juice versus Starks, to be fair, that actually looks solid too. So those are the two matches I like. And last year, you're running through, like, Dante Martin Phoenix sounds sweet. Swerve Darby Allin sounds sweet. The FTR match, I remember being sweet.
Even Cole Ishii is interesting. Cole
Ishii solid. I remember at one point, we got Kyle O'Reilly, Samoa Joe at one point. We did. Cole versus Joe in the finals.
We got O'Reilly, Phoenix, O'Reilly, Joe.
O'Reilly, Phoenix. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That was, like, last year's tournament felt
Cole
sweet.
Harwood.
Like, Cole Hart. Like, that's good stuff right there. Like, and I remember Cole being Joe in the finals. Like that felt like a good tournament to me. This one feels pretty weak. Like,
it was bigger and more star-studded, right?
Yeah, it was bigger, more star-studded. It felt like actually like worth the Owen Hart legacy, or like deserving, because like it was actually a good tournament. But this one just feels like kind of shortchanged.
I feel like it should be Hobbs, Starks, or Robinson, because you're building somebody. It can't be Rhodes and the other guy. I don't think it can be Strong. And then
the difficulty is it's
Punk
Hobbs,
and
Starks,
Joe,
and Juice are all on one side, so you have to pick one. I fear it's gonna be Punk, because we're still in the keeping Punk happy stage of things. I think that there's a fair chance.
I think Punk thinks he's above this.
I think Punk will take anything he could get.
Maybe.
And I think Punk would be like, ooh, a belt.
Yeah, could be. Back to the show.
Yeah. So tournaments are cool.
They are.
Unless it's CM Punk. Next we get Orange Cassidy and Katsuyori Shibata. That is fun. I like saying Shibata. It's fun to say.
It is.
I like to say Shibata. They're taking on Zack Sabre Jr. and Daniel Garcia.
Sabre.
Or Dante Rios, if you want to go back to NXT days.
Nice.
There's a lot of holds and counters between Sabre and Shibata.
But in a good way. I liked it.
Yeah,
sometimes I don't, but I liked it with those two.
Forearms and uppercut from Shibata when Garcia tags in. Garcia does his weird dance, and then Cassidy mocks him.
Right.
Garcia's always doing that. Like,
it was almost like Alex Wright kind of stuff.
Yeah,
from back
I don't
in the day.
hate it, because I think it's like one of like sports entertainment, but like I also don't love it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in this weird middle ground where I don't like it, but I kind of like how I don't like it.
At least if it's supposed to be sports entertainment, it fits, right? Because sometimes we complain.
Yeah, I don't like it, but it does fit.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm in this weird middle ground on that. There's the kicks of doom and Sabre. Then Sabre got Cassidy in a cravat hold, then a bit of holds and counters. Head scissors hold from Sabre. He was squeezing Cassidy's head. I'm gonna see how long I can do that.
People that aren't Office fans are gonna think we're just like illiterate with Sabre.
We're just stupid. Shibata gets a hot tag. Repeat toe kicks the arm from Garcia. Shibata keeps taking it. Shibata and Cassidy batter Sabre and Garcia with forearms in opposite corners, and they run the opposite corners with the basement drop kicks, because that's one of Shibata's staples of his moveset.
Like the hesitation drop kick.
Yeah. Wheelbarrow roll into the Dragon Tamer from Garcia. Shibata reverses and gets a heel hook in, but Sabre makes a save. Finally, Cassidy accidentally orange punches Shibata, then Garcia rolls him up for the surprise win, while Sabre was trapping Cassidy in a knee bar. Then they do the thing where they're all like holding the title because they all want the title,
right?
And Cassie's like, "That's my belt."
It was a surprising win because we were in the match talking about how like, oh, I wonder why Garcia's in this match, right? To take the pin.
I was positive he would be getting pinned and not getting the pin, but good for him, I guess.
And I did like, because at one point you said you'd like to see more of Shibata, and I used to love Prime Shibata. Was awesome.
I'd be down to see more Shibata.
He's cool, man. I
haven't seen a lot of them, so I thought he looked good here.
Me too. So
I liked him here. As someone who hasn't seen him much. Solid action all around. Sabre and Garcia worked pretty well together, which was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
And Cassie's ended up in the backseat.
I agree.
That's okay.
He needs a break.
He's been like on the show pretty much every week.
Yep.
The finish surprised me too. I thought surely Garcia would lose, but that's okay. And the 4-way should be sweet. It'll be like this, but better.
I like this too. You know how long this match was?
What?
17 minutes.
Really?
I quite liked it.
Yeah. And I feel like they did the same thing last year. I swear they did tag team match before the 4-way last year.
Yeah.
With Okada, Hangman.
Almost positively right. I don't remember things, but
Or I could be confusing it with the ROH title 4-way from, I think it was Full Gear. Because remember, that was Guevara, Jericho, Claudio, and Danielson. I think I'm right.
If you say so.
I think. And I remember that. I know that had a tag team match before then, because I was like, because remember saying, because they're both in Jazz and they're both in Blackpool.
Yep.
I think and so remember it was kind of like, this feels kind of like the tag match until it breaks down, right? And that was kind of the concern. So I could be confusing the Forbidden Door one with the Full Gear one, but it feels like they might have done that. But I know they did it with the Full Gear one.
I believe
because Jazz.
Because Jazz.
Yeah. Next we get a Will Ospreay interview. He's on the show. Hooray!
Nice.
Marvez asks why Ospreay's been disparaging Canadians ahead of the match.
Because he's been chirping Bret Hart online and stuff. I saw.
Yeah. I'm okay. He can be as mean to me as he wants. I love Will Ospreay.
Well, and if you're gonna ever pick on anyone, Canadians are perfect because we don't get mad about it. We just laugh with you. We don't really care.
Because we're so polite.
Yeah, we don't care. Whatever.
Since I'm Canadian, I'll apologize to you, and I'll give you some maple syrup and a little polar bear stuffed animal.
Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Hey, bud.
So dumb. Like, But yeah, no, I don't care because I love Ospreay and
It's so cold here in the summer. I'm freezing.
Yeah.
We're
yeah,
still
yeah,
snowy in June.
Callus should give him a bunch of security and maybe like a parka or something
Right.
like
Skates, hockey stick.
I skates. Give him a moose to ride in on.
Exactly. A
Kenny,
moose on hockey skates.
Kenny Omega should ride on a moose,
Yeah.
like have like a
while tapping a maple tree.
while holding a beaver in his hand, like rocking a beaver to sleep or something.
Canada, because Canada.
You should have like a winter jacket from Canada Goose and like
Right.
just munching on some Tims while you come in. Just
Exactly.
really like go all in on it because I love the stereotypes. I love it. It's so great. And that's my favorite part of TV is when they do that.
They never do that.
I love it so much. And and yeah, so Ospreay says he's used to competing in civilized countries and says AEW is gonna need some security. I think like that's funny. That's a good chuckle.
Right.
Because he's not talking about my maple syrup production.
Right.
Cal says as a Canadian he agrees with him, and Omega's been citing his fans to violence. I thought that was pretty funny. And Ospreay needs special security. Cal says he has military grade security. When he goes places, he'll offer it up to Ospreay for a fair fight.
I love the detail of military grade security. Like that's callous. Like how can I make
funny.
this more impressive? Right.
Yeah. I thought this was solid. I liked just getting a bit of Ospreay here. Maybe Omega will be outgunned and Ibushi comes in some way. I'll just keep dreaming of scenarios until it happens. I'll wing him with anything. Or Ibushi saves Omega after the match because I want Ospreay to win.
Yeah.
But I like this. I think I like Callus trying to aid Ospreay a little. Because I don't think he would have earlier. I feel like I think Callus was at the Wrestle Kingdom match and he was against Ospreay, so it's kind of funny.
I like this. I think Ospreay being like fine with traveling around in America where there's more guns than people and more mass shootings than the rest of the world combined, but then being like afraid to come to Canada without security is pretty funny.
I didn't even think of it like that. That's funny. Yeah.
And he's just like a really believable douchebag, and that's one of the things I like about Ospreay is he's grown as a character. He used to just be this flippy, unbelievably athletic dude, but now he can do everything, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got Callus as a slimy weasel who only is going to do stuff if it benefits him. And so this works, right? He wants Ospreay to destroy Omega, so he has sort of inserted himself into this to sort of help in any way he can, right? So I thought this was both of them being true to their pretty well-developed characters, so I like this quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just trying to find that suit that I was right about that 4-way. Where is it? God damn. No. It's okay. Yeah, I was right. Okay, good. All right.
Carry on.
Right, thank you.
My wayward son.
Damn it. You stole my bit.
Yeah.
God damn it. There was a quick Tony Storm Willow promo package. Tony said Willow's popular because she's like everyone else. She's a loser. Willow says she respects Tony, but on her attitude and how she's been doing things, she's going to come at her with honor. Tony said she doesn't respect Willow's opinion. She should be worried about what she's going to do at Forbidden Door. So I thought this was fine. I'm just kind of zooming through it because it really doesn't matter to me. Like, I think this will be like a solid match, but just like the lack of build is disappointing to me.
Not surprising, but
no. But here's the thing, and I wrote this in my predictions. So again, I'm just because I
blow up our predictions.
But that's
yeah,
fine. I won't spoil my prediction. But like the thing I said with this is they're both AEW people. So if they really wanted to build this, they could have built this already.
Correct.
This is like a match they could have easily built already. This could have had like a month build for this easy because they're both here. Like, yes, Willow has a New Japan belt, but she was an AEW person.
She wasn't supposed to, so it was a surprise, but still.
But she was an AEW person when she won that belt.
Right.
So they can they could have built this more. So I like this is just not enticing me because it's not a strong build. Like neither was Thunderstorm.
Nice.
I don't remember that. But like it's not super interesting to me. Like I'm sure the match will be solid, but I just don't really care that much.
See, I kind of like this, and for the reason that it was Toni Storm by herself. No spray paint, no L on her forehead stuff. So much more believable breath of fresh air kind of from her without the other people with her. Mostly Saraya, to be honest, right? Because she just bugs me. I thought she sounded like an overconfident heel and better than she usually does with the other two in tow. And Willow is like a really, really good babyface that the crowd connects with. And I think that in the current wrestling landscape, that's one of the most valuable assets a wrestler can have is being like a good babyface.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a heel out of anybody, I think,
pretty much.
Almost, but a really, really strong babyface is tough. So yeah, I thought this was a decent segment. The match should be good. I'm hoping it's good at least, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Next, we have our last match of the show, which is weird. I was like, this is the last match, right? And then it's yeah, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, our main event match, at least.
I guess, which is
whatever you want to say.
Questionable.
At least it's compared to a lot of women's matches. I was pretty happy with it at some level, at least.
Yeah. So we get Chris Statlander defending the title against Taya Valkyrie, Taya TV.
And my first note, and I think you agree, you phrase it differently. My phrasing is, I wish Statlander was more than, quote, a babyface powerhouse back from injury. Your thing is, like, what's her gimmick, right?
You wish she was more than a woman?
Right.
Because her thing is more than a woman, so I think she should be more than a woman.
Like, she's your champion, your main women's champion. What do we know about her? She was hurt and came back, and she's not an alien now. That's it, right? They just don't take the time to do anything.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. But anyway, sorry.
I was just, maybe Johnny TV stands for Johnny Taya Valkyrie.
It could. It is his wife, right?
That could work. That's what that means. It's not television. I don't know what televisions are. TV's Taya Valkyrie.
Relates to nothing.
I don't know what a TV is. I don't. What are these words? I don't know things. So there were some overhand chops on Taya. She took a tumble to the outside.
My note: Taya eases her way to the floor, and I laughed because we rewound and it's like the anti-Escobar or whatever. There's the how cautiously she like was supposed to be thrown out to the floor, but like just so gently eases her way down.
Cornerback elbow running knee from Statlander, then a Michinoku driver for 2. Discus Slayer from Statlander for 2. Spear from Taya. Sliding German from Taya. Superplex from Statlander, followed by the leg hook tombstone for the win. I thought it was solid, not amazing. Again, Taya didn't look the best here. She looked okay in parts, but not great in parts.
She's one of those, not quite to Natalia's level, because Natalia bugs me more, but she knows some moves and they look okay. But I find the stuff in between, she looks awkward and slow.
That didn't used to be the case.
Right. But I thought this was a good match, and it's at least notches above what we get a lot.
Some solid sequences. Yeah, and there was like a decent amount of time, I feel like. Yeah. I don't think it was amazing, and I think Statlander did the best she could. It was just okay. Last show of the match, that kind of last match of the show.
There you go.
Hell?
Nailed it.
So that's a little rough.
Statlander is honestly an impressive combination of power and athleticism, and Taya's experienced veteran, who I would suggest has lost a step or two, and I think it's a solid defense for Statlander, but still, like, give her time to speak and develop some sort of character, and also like build a credible rival, right? You need to build a strong champion that we care about, and then some sort of rival that we really want to see them have matches or whatever, right? And they're not doing either of those things, so there's just like the women's division is kind of just there, right? Build up a rival for her. Have some heel monster come in and just start killing everybody. Heat up Nyla Rose, somebody, right? But it's always just like someone who's now won a match on the internet gets a title shot and there's nothing behind it.
Yeah. I think the story here was decent, with Taya, like, because kind of being mad that she did the groundwork.
Exactly.
That was kind of cool.
There was something there for this one.
But I just think it amounted to not a lot.
And it wasn't like Taya was going to win. There's no universe where she wins the title here, right? So
especially if she lost to Jade.
They need to build the champion. They need to build a rival challenger and get this hot. Like, it hasn't been that way since Britt and Thunder Rosa. We're not huge Thunder Rosa people, but that feud was huge.
I don't think the TBS title specifically has ever really been that hot, because Jade, like, I guess just kind of hot at the beginning, but like she's just had it for like over a year or whatever. And so I think both the women's titles need something.
Me too.
Need a shot up the arm or shot up the ass or whatever it is.
No, in the arm probably. Shot in the arm.
I like shot up the ass better.
Sure.
You need to shoot him in the ass. That's what you need to do.
Okay. We're gonna get the explicit tag this week. I think on our podcast.
What if I say ass enough times?
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going, man. Okay. This is gonna be. We're already an hour and a half.
Nice.
I got things to do today.
Well. No, you'll be fine.
Keep speaking.
Next, the last thing is Eddie Kingston revealing the last partner for the Elite's team. So he walked out to talk about teaming with the Elite. He said he had put a shirt on because he had surgery and he ate a lot of ice cream. Is that his reference to being fat?
He is very large right now. Rotund.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Nice. He claimed that Young Bucks and Kenny Omega left because they didn't respect him, or he didn't respect them, or something. He said that a guy that's supposed to be his homeboy might be mad at him, but Eddie can't stand Claudio Castagnoli at all. ROH stuff. John Moxley got in the ring into the Eddie is drawing a line at Forbidden Door, and Eddie said he hated Claudio. Mox looked like he wanted to say something, but he didn't say it. He was like kind of muttering. Eddie Kingston announced that Ishii is the 5th guy. He went to the ring. The Black Bull jumped him and Kingston. And then I feel like Moxley just disappeared. I don't know where he went.
I don't know.
Maybe it's because he didn't want to attack Kingston, but I legitimately have no idea where he went.
That's probably it. They're keeping him from being definitely
I didn't even
anti.
see him. Like, it was just like I looked back up and I was like, where's Moxley? Like,
yeah.
It was weird. But then Bryan Danielson called out Okada. Okada came out. They had a stare down. Yuta attacked him from behind. Bryan accidentally hit Yuta with a Psycho knee. Avoided a Rainmaker. Yuta took a Rainmaker instead. He sold that well. Because Yuta's the whipping boy.
He is.
And so then there was a bit of a stare down to end the show.
Yeah. I said it before, but Eddie keeps bringing up how much he hates the Bucks. And I don't feel his rivalry with Claudio is enough to warrant. And he's trying really hard, and Excalibur was in.
I think it works. I liked it a lot more with Mox and Eddie, though, because I really love their dynamic anytime they're together.
So it's funny you say that. I also found Excalibur was really trying hard to convince me that Claudio and Eddie have this blood feud, right?
I know they have a bitter feud from ROH. I just don't know the details of it, so it's a little bit of a disconnect.
Right. So I think it feels like Eddie knows this logic is flawed a little. His delivery seemed off until he started engaging a bit with Mox, and then I felt like he was back to himself.
I love them together. I remember their feud in 2020 with the I Quit match was awesome. Their tag run was awesome. This could be awesome.
So I felt like that's when he was himself.
They're always so real together to me, and it feels like they do have this really like brother-like bond, and it's always just so real, and it's always entertaining. Like, I just think they've got really good chemistry together, and I think that's a really cool element to throw into everything that's going on. So I think that was my favorite part of this for sure. And then also, so I think Ishii is kind of a disappointment to me, and that's not a knock against Ishii.
He was already here and did a bunch of stuff. He already worked North America last year.
He's worked AEW a bunch of times. He was in the Owen Hart tournaments we were talking about.
Yeah.
He was at Forbidden Door. I swear he's popped up at least once or twice in the past year since then.
Mm-hmm.
And so and he's kind of older now. And he can still kind of go, but his style to me is just it's not the most entertaining. I think it's good for a TV pop, but I don't know. I just if it wasn't Ibushi even, I just wanted someone a little more exciting than Ishii.
Yeah.
I was just hoping for someone better, and it was it's okay, I guess. It's not exciting at all, really. And so I'm a little disappointed it's not Ibushi. And getting at least one interaction between Danielson and Okada before the match is cool too. I think this does a solid job of being a go home segment.
Yeah.
Although I think I would have preferred last week's.
Me too.
As it's kind of with the Double or Nothing build, I would have preferred the Elite.
1 week too long.
Yeah, exactly. The Elite reformation was perfect. This would have been I think I would have put this before or not at all.
And Danielson dodging the Rainmaker obviously makes sense. That's a classic
he does a good job
thing.
of getting out of there quick. So I remember he did that with the Buckshot a lot too.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of his kind of heelish run. Remember when he was kicking the Dark Order's head in and stuff.
Yep. Overall, this show felt, I don't know, the grade came easily to me. It felt like a B show to me, right? There's no match last week, was it, with MJF and Cole, where I'm
I thought
this
last
is amazing.
Week was really strong. What did we
give
that again? I don't remember what I gave it.
I think you gave it an A- and I gave it a B+. But I liked Hardys and Guns for what it was.
I gave it a B+.
The concession brawl cost the marks, obviously, for me.
I think also, to me, the lack of a good main event match. Because I think the segment was a solid end of the show, don't get me wrong, but just combination of Taya and Statlander just being okay, and then not having a follow match kind of hurts it for me too. Because I always like to end strong, right?
What was your match of the night? The 6-man tag, probably,
and that wasn't even amazing.
Agree. So, but I did think they moved storylines for Forbidden Door, and they did stuff like that.
They did a good job of doing a last minute build.
And I really liked the Ospreay Callus part. So I think it's a B. I was entertained. It's just the in-ring stuff wasn't amazing this week.
Yeah, in-ring wasn't the best. I thought the opener was solid. The consistency in brawl was a waste of time. The 6-man tag was the most fun match of the show, and the tag match was pretty solid as well. Then the women's match was okay.
Yep.
Then the segment was, I did enjoy the last segment. I thought that was really good. I think the highlight of the show was Cole and MJF. That was easily the best segment. Callus and Ospreay had a nice little bit. Elite and Blackpool also nice promos. I think the strength of the show is the storyline progression. And they do have to kind of do some last minute builds, and I think Collision can also help with that later tonight. But I think they did a solid job of that. They even built a women's title match there, so I think that's solid. And yeah, I think it's a perfect B show because nothing amazing, but it was all pretty solid.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about that more later when we get to our Forbidden Door preview.
We will.
Previewing a show we're going to. Have we done that before? I don't think we have. Because
were we not?
Other than maybe Rebellion, I think Impact.
Right.
That was probably the only one.
Probably.
Because we did go to TakeOver, but that was pre-pod because that was pre-pandemic.
Right.
So I think this might be like the first like major show. No offense to Impact.
Exciting.
It might be the first major show that we're previewing that we're going to. I think that's kind of neat.
That's cool.
That is neat.
All right. Well, we're done with AEW for now, and we'll take a look at some trivia in a segment we like to call Off the Top of His Head. Okay, so we're going back to ChatGPT.
Love it.
All right, and so I said the prompt I put in, because you actually made me think of this last week when we were talking about Money in the Bank matches, and you were saying like non-Money in the Bank matches or something. So I was like, yeah, let's talk about 15 best matches at WWE Money in the Bank that were not Money in the Bank matches.
I feel that's just begging it to screw up.
I think so too.
That's just begging it.
And I didn't do multiple choice, so we'll see how this goes. So.
Oh, God.
And here's what it spat out for me. While Money in the Bank matches are known for their high stakes and unpredictable outcomes, there have been several exceptional non-Money in the Bank matches at WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view events. Here are 15 of the best matches at Money in the Bank that were not Money in the Bank ladder matches.
Okay, that's promising, but I still don't trust them.
So let's see. WWE Championship match 2011.
Yeah, that's okay. Punk Cena. That's,
correct.
Okay, good. That's the one I would.
They're on a roll.
Think of.
Oh, and sorry, I should have counted backwards maybe. Oh, well, we'll just go in the order they gave them to me. WWE Championship match 2013.
Oh, is that Cena and Mark Henry?
It's saying it's not that. But I can't tell you if that's right or not.
What
They're saying Daniel Bryan and Orton.
That could be right.
So you don't know either.
I think I'm right, though. Let me look.
So,
no, it can't be right.
Tell me why.
Orton won Money in the Bank on that show.
Okay, there you go.
John Cena, Mark Henry. What up?
ChatGPT.
What is
wrong?
Up?
It's 1-1.
And Daniel Bryan was in that Money in the Bank match too.
Nice.
Oh God. Okay, so I knew I was right. There we go.
WWE Championship match 2015.
WWE Championship match 2015.
Yeah.
Rollins and Ambrose.
Correct.
Ladder match.
Agreement. Does it say? It does say in a dramatic ladder match.
Yep.
You're right. With Rollins emerging victorious?
Barely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He had the title until he was injured, and then remember he competed in the tournament where he was injured. ChatGPT lore.
2016 match where one person they're saying solidified his status as a top star in WWE in an incredible back and forth contest.
Styles and Cena.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. They're on fire.
I wouldn't say that was a solidifying match for him. Probably the SummerSlam one.
How dare you?
That's arguable. It was the match. That was a match at least. So.
WWE Championship match 2016.
Yeah. I was hoping they'd say that one. Rollins and Reigns. I love that match.
They got it.
That match was sweet.
The ChatGPT's doing really well this week. Only one botch out of 5. That was Rollins'
big return match. That was
right.
That match was sweet. I would watch that again.
Universal Championship match 2017.
Nope.
No. There wasn't a brutal match for the Universal. No,
because that was the 1 year
Kevin Owens retain.
No,
with help from interference from Braun Strowman.
No,
against
Roman Reigns.
Correct.
Okay, okay.
Here we go.
This is funny.
This is what I look for.
This is really funny. Okay, all right. So first off, the reason I said no right away is because, whoops, in 2017 for some reason I'd never liked the decision. I remember even as a kid I didn't like it. But SmackDown got Money in the Bank that year. That was the year Corbin won the briefcase, remember? And
sure.
Carmelo won the briefcase.
I remember him winning.
Yeah, so that was the year. And that they had the blue. That was when they brought back the blue briefcase the one time. Point being, this was still the era of the red Universal title, meaning that was on Raw, meaning it wasn't on the show at all.
Okay.
So that is already wrong. And also, if you want to, just so you know, the world title match on that show was Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton. So we're in that era.
Amazing.
And the funniest bit of this to me, the Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns match was Braun Strowman's interference. That did happen that year, but that was at Royal Rumble.
Okay.
And no DQ match. So that's
a miss.
Many months before. So that is very funny to me.
Last man standing match for the WWE Championship 2018.
Nakamura and Styles.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it says Styles retained.
Yep.
Triple threat match 2018.
Title match. Anything?
Let me just see there. Intense encounter. No. So 2 people in AEW. Oh no, all 3 in AEW. I don't know if this match happened.
I don't know.
Was Big Cass ever in a triple threat?
In 2018, he wasn't in a triple threat. No, I'm pretty sure he faced Daniel Bryan.
So they're saying Cass Samoa Joe, and Bryan in 2018
no,
Money in the Bank.
I think. Okay, wait, hold on. So I'm almost positive it was.
But hold on, because the next one is still 2018, so don't look it up yet.
Okay.
Intercontinental Championship match, 2008.
Rollins and Elias.
Correct.
Okay, so that I knew
the
that
next one's 2018 as well. Hold on.
Okay.
SmackDown Women's Championship match.
That would be Carmella and Asuka, and James Ellsworth interfered.
Nope, they're saying Lynch and Flair.
No. Okay, so
now you can go look it up.
The Cass one, I'm pretty sure I'm right that it was Cass and Daniel Bryan, because I remember they had a feud off of the back of Bryan's return, so that should be right. Daniel Bryan defeated Big Cass by submission, and Samoa Joe should be in the Money in the Bank if I'm correct. Yes, he is. Okay, so the 3-way was, I believe that was the qualifying match for Money in the Bank, so that would have been on SmackDown. Gotcha. So that is not right. And then I was obviously right about Rollins Elias. I remember that because Rollins reused his 2015 gear, the black and gold look. And then, Carmella, Asuka with James Ellsworth. Yeah, I knew that one because remember that was the one where James Ellsworth dressed as Asuka, and it was weird. And that's that.
Universal Championship match 2019.
Rollins and Styles.
Correct.
Yeah, that was nice.
SmackDown Tag Team Championship match 2019.
Usos and someone?
Usos and New Day.
I guess that makes sense. Okay, wait, hold on. Is there any other 2019 ones? Because
no.
Okay, I want to see if that's actually happened, because that could be any year from 2016 to like 20 to basically to this year. So no. Okay. Here's the funny part, and it was the match that I was gonna say too. I was gonna say Usos versus Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan, and that's what it was.
Oh, we liked that.
Yeah.
Remember we liked Rowan a lot in that? Was that one? Oh no, that was
AEW.
Right.
That was the Death Triangle.
So they made a mistake.
That was like House of Black. No, but so that's the one I thought it was too. And I was like, but see, if I didn't check it, I would have
believed, because they've had 700 matches.
Yeah, and that's an easy time for they were likely on SmackDown together. So yeah, okay, that makes sense.
WWE Championship match 2020.
Oh, Rollins and McIntyre.
Correct.
Yep.
Universal
Messiah Rollins, baby.
Universal Championship match 2021.
Reigns and Edge.
Yep. And finally, Raw Women's Championship match 2021. Maybe, if they're right.
Was it Ripley? That was Ripley and Charlotte.
According to them, yes.
Yeah, because then Nikki Ash cashed in on Charlotte.
So what? They botched maybe 4 in there?
Couple. There was the one major one, what was that? That was
as long as there's one that makes you laugh, that's good.
The 2017 was pretty funny.
So it wasn't bad. All right, so we'll finish up trivia, turn back around into some wrestling highlights and lowlights from the week that was in what we like to call high spots and rest holds. All right, so you said you did have something from Raw?
I got a few.
Go for it. What was good? What was bad?
High spot was Ciampa's back.
Nice.
And additionally, so is his NXT theme, which was pretty good.
Oh, good.
And his first name.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, I agree. All of those things are good.
Yep,
3 good things in one.
That's all good.
3 high spots.
Resthold Trish Stratus qualifying for Money in the Bank. It's 2023. What is this?
Yes, that's
beyond bizarre.
Yeah.
And she won by DQ, so that's just the cherry on top.
Nice.
High spot, and I think you'll agree from NXT, Balor's upped aggression and repeated attacks on
Rollins.
Yes,
he looks cool.
I like the better presentation for Balor and making him more of a threat. I'm still certain Rollins will retain, obviously, but the stronger Balor looks, the better. And additionally, I would like Balor with the title in the future. I don't really want him to beat Rollins right now, and I'm not saying he has to beat Rollins in the future, but like at some point down the line, I think I'd like to have him with the proper world title run, because he never got his fair shake.
And his heel work in NXT was awesome, so he's capable of...
Judgment Day is obviously a little different, but I still think it could work.
Me too.
I do wish he was in Money in the Bank, kind of. I think that'd be cool, but at the same time, I'm glad it's LA Knight. Speaking of which, high spot. LA Knight's promo on the Money in the Bank field. I showed you this. Man, he was over when he came out. The reaction was nice.
Which means he won't win. It's organically
he had some good roast for Logan Paul, too. That was really funny, and the crowd did the LA Knight thing with him. It was really nice. He's hot as hell right now. It was really good.
He is fun, man.
I'm loving it. I'm on the hype train, too.
Yep.
I'm loving LA Knight right now. It's really great. I'm surprised my friend, my Xbox friend who... he likes sports entertainment. He he's not an LA Knight guy. I'm really surprised.
He's good sports entertainment.
He's saying like he's not that great in the ring, and he's like, and I'm
fine.
like, and to me, I'm like, since when have you cared about that?
Yeah, he's
like,
totally fine.
LA Knight's, I'm saying like he's better than most, like he's better than some of the guys my friend likes, and
yeah,
like he's got charisma up the wazoo. I'll say it again, like he's awesome. But a wrestle from that segment was Logan Paul's Money in the Bank now. I probably could put that
without a qualifying match, right?
Because
because Logan
he
Paul
called people, I guess.
Yeah.
So my wrestle was he got the better of everyone in the melee.
Of course.
And so look, like Paul's good in the ring, right? And
he is.
That's not my issue with him, and I think we've both said that plenty of times. But it's just kind of annoying that now with his addition to the field, everyone else has to kind of play second fiddle and bump for him, and look stupid. Especially Butch, which that's the part that really gets me out, obviously. Poor Butch, when he came out, they did like the Shawn Michaels, Mike Knox bit, where like Paul was like, "Who is this?" And
I heard they didn't know who he was.
He asked if it's take your pet to work day.
Disrespectful.
Like that's just stupid.
Yeah.
And before Butch just attacked him and the melee ensued. And then Paul obviously got the better of it with a big dive, taking out everybody.
Sure.
And like Paul can be in fine because I'm sure he'll perform well. And I'm honestly,
he's good.
From an in-ring perspective, I'm perfectly okay with Logan Paul being in there.
As a human being, less so.
As a human being, as a winner, I don't want that, obviously. Right. But like, I just don't like that it has to affect everyone else negatively, and namely Butch. Like, that just kind of sucks. And Pete Dunne has to be on the horizon, for the love of God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need Pete Dunne. Please. Have him turn heel here. I don't care. Actually,
somehow.
No. It probably wouldn't be a good idea in London because everyone loves Pete Dunne.
That's right. You have to.
I'm good until SmackDown.
Right, so NXT first rest hold right out of the gate. I thought an unnecessary stipulation ruins what would probably be a really good match, and that was Tyler Bate taking on Wes Lee. But we get Mustafa Ali as the special guest referee. And his presence distracted a ton from a match that
you're not going to comment on how good of a job he did?
That I really want to see. It was weird. He starts out counting really fast for Bate and really slow for Lee. And then for some reason, he seems to switch to like a consistent normal cadence. So I don't know what he was doing. And in general, he just took a lot of attention for what ended up being no real reason. So the finish, both men kind of fall off the top. I think it might have been a headbutt. And then Ali goes to the floor because Lee fell to the floor and Bate fell in the ring, and he encourages Lee to get into the ring to beat the 10 count, and he does, and then basically hits the cardiac kick for a win after 13 minutes. So there was some good action in there, but honestly, the presence of Ali didn't add anything, and I don't think it furthered any story between the three of them, other than letting us know that this is where Ali fits on NXT, right, is within this orbit sort of thing. And Lee versus Bate had potential to be a phenomenal match, but this wasn't it, and I didn't quite understand why they made this choice. But another rest hold, surprise, surprise, you'll be shocked to hear, another Gigi Dolan vignette.
Ooh.
So she's out on the street looking at some graffiti, and she's always been drawn to creativity. She's been rejected by friends, family, and life, and that sets her apart from everyone else. She has the freedom to create whatever enters her mind.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm pretty tough on her sometimes. This one's not entirely her fault. Her delivery wasn't great here. I'm not saying it was, but this is one of those scripting issues, right?
Yeah, I really hate those lines.
Often happens in WWE. The wording of this is just not how
horrible.
People talk, right?
No, I don't know anyone who would like actually talk like that.
It's super unnatural.
Unsarcastically, right? Like,
right. And it dooms the wrestler to sound dumb, right?
Yeah.
There's not much they can do. It's not how human beings communicate.
And from what I see from her delivery is never the best already. So when you're just like, piling that on, it's obviously not going to be great. And
then they follow it up with a rest hold because Kiana James gets a chance to respond to this, and she doesn't sound very good either. And she says that what Gigi calls art, right, the graffiti
she calls fart,
is a waste of real estate because business, right? She's always doing the business. James is fueled by results, but they're not as different as Gigi says. She also broke rules as a kid, but grew up. She has ambition, which Gigi can't even spell. Gigi is swimming in a pool of mediocrity. Again, because that's a phrase people use all the time, right?
I don't think so.
Not great delivery, more writing that sounds unnatural. Same complaints I've had about Dolan. Apply them to Kiana James here. Highspot. The flip side of these two character work is Thea Hale. Lots of women on a 2-hour show. Take notes, AEW. Thea Hale is 19 years old, man. And she is so impressive. She's the over-the-top perky, like she's Scrappy Doo, basically, right? But
Except it's not stupid like Butch.
She's amazing
she's
somehow at it. She was involved in a really long in-ring segment with Chase U. Eventually, Tiffany Stratton comes out, and it ends with Hale putting a Kimura on Stratton and Stratton tapping out. So Hale obviously isn't going to beat Stratton, and I don't think Hale's amazing in the ring yet. She's fine, but she is doing a good job.
As long as she's not doing flipping arm drags.
No, she's doing a good job developing in NXT, and her involvement with Dempsey and Gulak is going to be something that comes to a head at some point, right? Because she's with Chase U, which are faces, but also training with two heels, so something's got to give there. But it's been decent mid-card, long-term storytelling, right? Like, I don't mind it. So, and her performances are, she seems like she'll be around forever because she will be willing, like Grimes, right? Give her anything and she'll perform the hell out of it. Even if it's stupid, she's going to kill it, right? Resthold, the Creeds talking backstage. Just another awkward segment here. You have Ivy and Julius watching the Schism segment that I won't even mention on a tablet. It's basically
mentioned.
It was basically Gacy wondering if he's affecting people's losses, and the Drake was basically like, yeah, it is. And then it's like Ava's like, oh hey, and he's like, hey, we're supposed to be honest with each other, and he's holding us back, sort of thing. So whatever. Anyways, Brutus comes in as the other two are watching this on a tablet, and they talk about Schism being a cancer in NXT. And then I think Julius makes a short joke about Ivy. Brutus makes a big head joke about Julius, a cauliflower ear joke from Ivy. I don't know. It's just, these guys are hit and miss, and this was a miss. They just sounded awkward and uncomfortable. It's supposed to make them sound like they're really chummy, right? And they rip on each other, but it didn't feel natural at all. I think you might have watched this. I thought the triple threat tag match, was actually really fun.
I saw a bit of it, yeah. Briggs, I might have watched it, actually.
Briggs and Jensen, Hank and Tank, and Blade and Inafe, right? 9 minutes. I thought it was really good, fast-paced, no lulls.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like, yeah, it kept going, kind of.
I thought Briggs looks impressive. He's the most experienced of all of them, right? He's been wrestling a while. I thought everybody,
Evolve, right?
Everybody did a pretty good job. He was their champion at one point, I think.
I remember seeing him on the show, like, I think that Austin Theories. I remember when they did like the one that was on the network,
exactly.
The 10th anniversary.
He was for sure on that.
Yeah.
So
probably how they got him.
Briggs and Jensen hit a heart attack to, who would that be? Tank, I'm assuming. I just can't spell. But Inafe comes off the top to break up the pin, and then Blade quickly follows up with a top rope splash of his own onto Tank, and they sort of steal the win and earn the title shots against Gallus. Quick, fun TV match that had some stakes, right? At least it was for a title shot.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that Briggs and Jensen are the experienced team at this
bunch,
that
right? Kind of made me sad that they're the experienced ones.
They're kind of growing on me as like a brawling tag, like APA kind of thing. Brutes. You know what I mean? Just sort of that style. The format of this seemed to work for less experienced guys in the match because it was just really quick. You didn't have a ton of time working, right? Over-delivered for me quite a bit. Resthold, Thorpe, and Kemp decide on a Raw Underground match. You told me this too ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
I haven't enjoyed Thorpe so far. I didn't really enjoy Raw Underground matches, so I don't think there's much choice. I'm going to enjoy this.
Whoa! You don't like Daba Kato?
It could
Dolph Ziggler shoot fighting.
It could over-deliver, I guess, if I have low expectations, because I think there's future for Kemp as a heel. I'm not sure about Thorpe so far. Then we get wow. As I'm looking back, there's a lot of Restholds on here. It's Cora Jade taking on Dana Brooke is another Resthold.
Oh, that sounds like a high spot.
I don't think either of these women are good in the ring. So this is pretty much what I expected. You had Brooke selling a knee injury. I will say she did on one part do like a handspring thing and really did a good job of the knee just collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, there was some of that to the point where she's stretchered out and then sort of comes back after a commercial. So then you get the finish was a single leg crab by Jade, but Brooke won't tap out, so the ref has to call for the bell. Jade wins. 11 minutes. I thought this was kind of limited action. I do enjoy targeting injuries, but I don't think Jade has a varied enough attack at this point in her career. Not really her fault. She's inexperienced, right? But neither of these two seem to be getting better. The difference is one's 21.
And one's
Google Dana Brooke's age for me right now.
Okay, I got it.
And she's been wrestling forever, and she still looks bad. Like her offense doesn't
34.
look. Yeah, okay. So she's been around a while. Highspot, believe it or not, an engaging Von Wagner segment.
That is crazy.
I really liked it because I like reality and sort of truth in woven in to stuff. So last week, right, he admitted that he does trust Robert Stone. So they're kind of sitting in an empty arena together, I think. And Vaughn finally opens up about the childhood picture of him with like a million staples in his head. So he had a condition, I forget what it's called, some fancy medical term, basically where his skull was fused into place and wasn't going to grow properly. So he had to have a 14-hour surgery where they literally cut from one ear to the other. He says they show pictures of the surgery and recovery. He says they cut him from ear to ear, pulled his face down, and fixed his skull, and basically gave him a life. And Stone's sitting there being supportive, like, and you were just a kid, and Vaughn's talking about how kids were mean and would make fun of him, obviously, because he had this giant scar across his whole head. Before his hair and everything would grow back and it would heal. And I was really into this, and this really baby-faced Von Wagner, his delivery's still not great, but the fact that he was sort of talking about his life experiences and not a script that's poorly written by writers, I really like this, and this was by far the most interesting.
Disgusting.
It's pretty crazy stuff.
I don't ever want to hear that again.
A really, really cool segment for him.
That's good, but I don't ever want to hear that again.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. High spot, another high spot. We had Corbin and Carmelo Hayes have a face-to-face in the ring ahead of their championship match, I guess. And I thought it was really good. You had Melo being like cocky and mocking the characters that Corbin played with his lack of success winning championships, getting cut from the NFL at an age where Melo's already winning titles and stuff. And then Corbin's response is basically, yeah, but I've got a like $2 million house and I've made all this money off all this stupid stuff you say I have done has made me way richer than you are, right? Kind of coming at it from that angle, which I thought made sense for him. So I liked the back and forth. They both sounded good, and their points were consistent with their character and kind of made sense from their point of view, I thought, right? And I felt like Melo had a bit more of his edge back. Not quite the heel edge, but more personal attacks on Corbin that were good. And Corbin's just brushing them all aside, right? And going, yeah, but I'm wealthy and own a bunch of stuff kind of thing. So I'm not sure how great the match will be, but I thought this was a really good pro wrestling segment. Then of Resthold, believe it or not, a match between Lash Legend and
yeah, you told me.
What's her face Jackson?
Takara.
Thank you. And Feroz and Leon. So first of all, I don't know if you can Google image any pictures from it. With my color blindness, it looked like they were all wearing the same outfits, basically. And I'm sure you're gonna look and go, nope, it's blue and something. But to me, I was like, they are wearing the similar outfits. But anyways, so Lola Vice and Elektra Lopez walk out onto the ramp, and this match was about what you would expect. No one involved in this is very polished. I think Leon and Feroz at least bring some fire and energy to things, so they dive onto Oro Mensah to take him out on the floor. Leon returns back into the ring, walks into a big boot from Lash, and Lash and Jackson win after only 3 minutes.
The heels are wearing pink and the babyfaces are wearing blue. What
I knew
are
you were
you
gonna
on?
I'm colorblind, man.
Dude, but like, you're A, color deficient, B, how is it that bad?
That's just, to me, on our TV.
That is not even the same thing.
Anyways,
wow,
it was
that is,
for me.
Okay, yeah, wow, okay, no.
So apparently we're getting an angle with Jackson, Legend, Lopez, and Vice, and that could lead to like an all-time bad match, I feel like. So that's something to look forward to.
If this one didn't already.
I was slightly annoyed that Mensah looked silly here because I thought he picked up some momentum from the Heritage Cup match where he looked pretty good, but he was the silly standing around too long babyface getting taken out by the women diving onto him. Heel. Then a high spot. The main event was really good. I don't know if you saw it, but
no, but I would expect that.
17-minute match. Rollins wins. I think he had to hit 2 curb stomps. He's seriously selling the injured midsection, right? Thanks to Balor's vicious attacks on Raw, I believe, correct? Yep. And Braun looked really aggressive and sort of targeting that with lots of throws and suplexes and spears and things. And Rollins doing a good job of selling, but still kicking out of everything. You had the classic, looked really good too. You probably saw the highlight of Rollins hitting the splash through the table at ringside.
I don't think I have yet.
It looked really good. Braun hit a Frankensteiner and a gorilla press slam for as a believable near fall as you're going to get in this. Really good match. If this was a tryout for Braun against established main roster talent, then I'd say he was really successful. He's now much better as an explosive heel, right? Like he can just dish out punishment. And working with someone like Rollins allows him to raise his game as expected, right? Excellent main event. The crowd was really into it as well. So a really successful return to NXT for Rollins here really helped establish Braun as a pretty strong heel here. All right, moving to Impact. I thought the opening 6-man tag was solid. It was only 6 minutes. It was Myers in good hands, defeated OVE. We had a run-in from Moose, allowed Myers to hit the roster cut to somebody. So fast pace, and you've got still furthering the story of Moose might be joining Myers' group. Fulton had one impressive spot where he had a guy for a power slam and then choke slam 2 other people. So like he did World's Strongest Slam while also choke slamming 2 people. You know what I mean?
That's weird picturing it in my mind, but
it looked pretty cool. And I think Callahan and Chris work well together. They've wrestled a lot together in the past, right? And I like Myers in a good hand, so I was okay with this. I actually also thought Eddie Edwards and Kaz had a good conversation backstage because they're going to be tagged up in the main event against Bully Ray and Macklin.
Why?
Great question. I can't remember. But basically, Kaz doesn't trust Eddie Edwards at this point, which makes sense. And Eddie does a good job to try and convince him, and eventually says he swears on the life of their shared trainer. I think it was Killer Kowalski trained both of them.
Isn't he dead?
I think so, and that's why you're swearing on his life. Anyways, Kaz seems to
Wouldn't Kaz know that?
Kaz seems to find that convincing. I thought both did a good job. It was a believable little segment. Didn't like Dango beating Gujar in 3 minutes, even though I like Dango's new character. And before the match, he took the mic like he was gonna. The crowd's chanting "Divas reject."
Mm-hmm.
And he picks up the the mic like he's going to say something, and all he says is, "I hate pro wrestling," and that's it, which I thought was funny. I just didn't love him beating Gujar, because Gujar, I think, is promising, and he's just coming off his, like, Impact documentary or diary or whatever thing. So it seemed like a bit of a poor choice. The match was fine. It ended up with Santino. So, what was it? Dango grabs a phone. They were trying to say it was Gujar's phone, and maybe it was. And so he's like filming himself on Gujar's phone, and Morella comes down and hits him with the Cobra, obviously. Resthold Nevaeh's back, as you mentioned to me last time, but she is tangled up with Jessica and Courtney Rush, trying to convince them that they're Havoc and Rosemary, Undead Realm, blah, blah, blah. No need to elaborate. It's supernatural garbage. Also, Zicky Dice is getting trained as a referee so that he can help Swinger win matches, because remember, if he wins 50, he gets a title shot. And this is just stupid low-card comedy stuff that Impact can't resist. Don't like it. Highspot, decent tag team match with a dumb finish, I thought. The design took on Gresham and Bailey, so the design, this version, is Khan and Angels.
Oh, beautiful.
8-minute tag match. Angels, Gresham, and Bailey can all really wrestle, so a lot of the action was pretty good. Khan even got a couple decent power spots and dealing with double teams and stuff. Finish was Bailey missed the tornado kick. Angels hit a really nice second rope Spanish fly. Angels is climbing up the ropes to hit a move, and Diener, for some reason, climbs onto the apron and is like, "Finish him, I need you to finish the match. This is what the plan, blah, blah, blah." And Angels literally says to him, and you could hear him go, "What do you think I'm doing?" Right? Which I was like, exactly. Why are you delaying the guy? So anyways, Diener's stalling of Angels allows Bailey to move out of the way of the splash. Tornado kick absolutely nails the Ultima weapon, and they win. So it's like the designer in this infinite loop, right? Enter a feud, lose the feud, have some dissension in your group, and repeat.
Rinse, repeat.
So I'm really hoping that this time Angels gets out of this group, because in ring he's really good. Character-wise, I struggle, but anyways,
he doesn't have the look of...
He's a legitimate X Division guy, though, I think, right? Like, he can be a contender there, and then Diener and Khan could disappear into the ether for all I care. I don't think they're
Undead Realm.
They're right. They're offering much right now. Highspot, I thought Taylor Wilde and Killer Kelly had a decent match, pretty quick, but then it's leading to the formation of a cool tag team. So Killer Kelly ends up winning the match with a roll up, and then the Coven, obviously, because who's the other Coven person is out there with
King.
There you go. So they start beating on Killer Kelly, and Masha Slamovich comes down to help out Killer Kelly. And if they don't have plans for either of those two as a singles, I think them as a tag team, just an ass-kicking violent women's tag team, would be awesome. I honestly would have them steamroll all kinds of competition and win the titles.
What competition? They don't have much of a division there.
The only issue I had here was commentary really telegraphed the post-match action, and it really annoyed me, because at one point, I think it was Hannafan said, if Killer Kelly can beat one half of the tag champs, then you would think she should earn a title shot, but who would ever team with her? Like, stuff like that, right? She'd never be able to find a partner. And oh, come on, now you just
it's kind of like the
Alba happening.
Fire Isla Dawn team.
Right.
Just because, like, not just because they're dark or whatever, because I guess that's more like the Coven, but I mean more like because they fought a bunch. Oh, hey, let's team.
Right. And
or the Buyer.
Commentary did this again at another point. I couldn't remember specifically. I remember 2 times being like, why are you telegraphing stuff? Resthold. D'Amore is interviewed by Gia about the Bully Ray Macklin thing. I hate this whole angle. D'Amore does a decent job of speaking and conveying emotions in segments like this, but the issue is it's leading to a match for him with Bully Ray in it too. So there's just something you can't get me interested in. Main event was solid. It was Edwards and Kazarian, Bully Ray and Macklin in the only match on the show that got any time at all. It got 13 minutes. There was one spot where Edwards tried to super kick Macklin as Kaz was holding him, but he kicked Kaz instead. So commentary was saying that Macklin moved out of the way, but I rewound it and he didn't move. It was just Eddie kicking Kaz in the face. So if that was the thing, then I think it could be cool, right? Like Eddie was like, I swear on our trainer, but then did kick him in the face. It's either that or Macklin didn't move and he was supposed to. So I'm interested to see if it's actual storyline.
That's true.
Kaz looked good in this, I thought. The heels ended up winning with an assisted neck breaker, which I don't know if they were trying to say was like an inverted 3D, but it was just like a assisted neck breaker. It looked kind of lame to me. One guy lifts and you just hit a neck breaker.
I guess, yeah.
Didn't look great.
I'm trying to imagine
but
that.
anyways, that is all I had. Do you have anything from SmackDown?
Yeah, I only have one thing, which is the Usos promo. I thought was pretty good. Post Bloodline split from last week. So I thought that was good. I've always enjoyed their promo delivery ever since their heel turn.
For sure.
Even like as faces, their delivery is really cool.
Yep.
And so I always like that. I like their angle here. The bit where they say they still love Roman because they're family, but he was disrespecting them was cool. Like
makes sense.
Not supposed to be what family is, but I don't know. I liked it. I like their whole shtick, and I like that they have this disdain for Paul Heyman now, especially Jay, because he's been an outsider the whole time, but that was never acknowledged like it was with Sammy.
Right.
And it's like Paul Heyman's just been like accepted as the wise man. So I like now that they're kind of having issue with Roman, they're taking umbrage with Heyman as well, which I think makes sense. Something that works. I think the match will be pretty sweet. It's another high profile tag match, for
which
like
I'm very happy they're doing.
Yeah, Roman and Solo aren't a big tag team, but it's still a tag match, so works.
Yep, I agree. No, that's cool.
It. Nothing else from SmackDown looked really good. I did see that LA Knight faced Mysterio.
Yeah.
I don't know if he won though.
Yeah.
So
probably. Feels like he should, at least.
Which makes me think he didn't.
Right. Okay, so you said you didn't have anything, no updates in the figure world, so we're going to go into the final segment, which will be us making our predictions for a show we may have mentioned we're going to tomorrow, and that is AEW Forbidden Door. And sorry, you're right. It's AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. I got to give credit where credit is due. Mm-hmm. Citations, are important. Yeah. So run through these 11 matches and let's see if we disagree on any predictions here.
I'm just going to disagree with you at every turn.
Just for something to do?
Yeah.
So somebody gets a sweep? Somebody wins by 100%?
I guess so, yeah.
If you pick the opposite of everything I do?
Well,
no, that still wouldn't be true.
No.
You're right.
No.
Unless
it's like, I think Backlash I did. Or was it?
You almost swept something, and then
I almost swept Mania. Roman Reigns ruined everything.
Right.
That's crazy because that was
the
two nights.
The biggest lock you had, and it was the one that
that's
you didn't
the funny
get.
part. Is like it was the big and what are the odds I almost swept Mania? Because Mania, like there's a bunch of matches. It's 2 shows, and
correct.
I nearly swept the whole thing.
You're so smart. I'm so dumb.
And I swept Stand and Deliver. I think
you might have.
Because I know I swept that too. So
you're so smart.
Yeah. I'm just like, and the funny part is because like I always pick, like you always said, to pick logical, so I don't always do the best on main roster, but then I almost sweeped the biggest show.
Yep.
SummerSlam. I'm coming for it. Right?
I thought this was a mixed bag of really easy to predict and some kind of challenging.
Yeah. Athena, Billy Starks, women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament first round match or quarterfinal, but it's the same thing.
Correct. It is the same. Synonymous even.
Synonymous. Yeah.
In this case, not always.
I picked Athena. Why would Starks win? She's not much of anything. Athena's still ROH champ.
So I was a little swayed by people going like, this is going to be a big moment for Billy Starks and her like defining whatever, but I'm still going to take Athena.
Hey, if we've learned anything, Toronto's a good place for Athena.
Correct. That we turned her heel, man.
We did that, all right?
We did that.
We're those people.
I just don't think people even know who Starks is. Possibly.
Stars.
Sorry, I have Starks.
No, Starks.
Starks. She's a 90s person, it must be.
Yeah, we got Ricky Starks and we got Billy Starks.
Feels like a pre-show match to me.
It is. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention it's on the 0 hour.
Right.
I missed they put in the buy-in. I like that. That was a cool name for a pre-show.
Yeah.
I would like to keep the buy-in on Double or Nothing because I feel like that's where it makes the most sense.
Yep.
But I don't know. I missed that because 0 hour is just kind of I guess that works. That does work in a general sense, but I thought the Biome was always a cool name.
Me too.
Anywho, perhaps my least anticipated match on the main card. Probably, almost definitely. CM Punk versus Satoshi Kojima. I remember he was around for a little. I think it might have been Forbidden Door last time, or he was in AEW for like a little bit for some reason.
Kojima?
I don't remember why. He had like a match or two.
Does he still have the Band-Aid on his face?
I don't know.
I think he has the breathe right strip on his nose all the time.
Yeah.
Is his thing.
Owen Hart Foundation tournament first round, quarterfinal, whatever. Punk gets the win here, I thought, because Kojima ain't their guy. He's also way older than Punk, and we're still in the try to keep Punk happy while he still can era. To say this is the match I want to see at least is an understatement. They could have at least given Punk a cooler opponent.
Yeah, they probably could have. And it is definitely Punk. Punk is not losing, and he's not losing to Kojima at this point.
Punk just loses to Kojima.
This was one of the ones that's kind of
he loses to Kojima, and then we just have like another whole like media scrum issue.
Right.
That would be kind of funny.
Imagine.
Actually.
Would be funny.
Okay. Next we get Toni Storm versus Willow Nightingale for the AEW Women's World Championship. So I took Storm here. As great as Willow is, they haven't built her for a title run. And like I said earlier, with both of them being AEW contracted people, they could have actually given this one a better build and given Willow more of a fighting chance. I like Willow a lot, and I don't like the Outcast whatsoever, but it's clear Storm ain't losing here. And I know you said a similar thing. Switching the title back so soon would run the risk of a hot potato situation.
Correct.
I don't think we're there yet, but it would run the risk of that. And the TNT title has already been far too plagued by that. And also, I think if you're going to hot potato the title back to someone, I would wait to give it back to Hayter because I don't think she was supposed to lose it. And
I don't
also,
either.
I would vastly prefer her to have a second title run than to Storm.
Me too.
At this stage.
So I would be fine with them loading Willow up with gold, but they're not going to, right? They're not.
It just doesn't make sense here. Like, I would like it, but it doesn't work.
Moving the title would, even though Google doesn't like the word potato-ish, it would feel hot potato-ish. It took me 4 tries to get potato-ish down there. And there seems to be, unfortunately, because it's the Outcast thing, more behind Toni Storm right now than Willow, because Willow kind of accidentally won a belt because somebody got hurt, even though I like Willow, but it's Toni Storm for this one. So far, no disagreement.
That's true.
What's next?
Next we have the dudes with attitudes, we'll call them that again, which is Darby Allin, Sting, and the mystery partner. Now, as of recording, we don't know the mystery partner because we're recording before Collision, so I kind of figured that would happen anyway. So we're picking this without knowledge of who they're teaming with, which I don't think matters a lot anyways.
No, probably not.
They're taking on the team dubbed Los Suzuki Gods. It's Jazz. It's Jazz versus Sass.
It is.
Jericho, Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki. I took Sting and Darby because I feel like they'll pick some partner that's going to help them get the win, and I feel like it'll be similar to last year, a win for these two and whoever they're teaming with. And I think this time it also would further the tension between Guevara and Jericho, so I think it actually serves more of a purpose.
Like you're reading my notes, sir.
Yeah, all right.
I have Sting, Allin, and To Be Determined. They win because I think they also like to give the crowd Sting wins. They just love to. The crowd seems to want that, and they want to give it to them.
And that's okay, I guess.
And highly likely the Garcia-Jericho situation comes to a head and maybe cost them the match kind of thing. Or sorry, Guevara-Jericho and cost them the match, I guess. So, same picks there, too.
As long as Darby has cool face paint.
Yep.
Next, we get a random addition, but it's kind of part of the MJF storyline. So, it's Adam Cole versus Tom Lawler, which is interesting.
Right.
Pretty obvious Cole win here. Lawler doesn't need the win. He's not going to stick around. I think Cole picking up the win helps further the MJF storyline. I think that works.
Yeah, it has to be cool. He's in a prominent position in AEW right now as like the next challenger.
I think Lawler at best he's a strong guy. So
and Lawler, I don't know. I'm not up on him, but I can't see a loss hurting him here.
I think he's
I've
mostly
seen him wrestle
New
a
Japan
bunch.
Strong guy.
Yeah,
so that's not exactly top stuff.
Right. It's got to be cool.
Yeah. Next we get Orange Cassidy versus Katsuhiro Shibata versus Daniel Garcia versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the International Championship, the AEW International Championship, leveled up, by the way. Cassidy has to get the win here, I feel like. I don't see anyone else winning here, and so I kind of got a justification for each person even though I don't think we really need to, because I don't know, I think it's pretty obvious Cassidy would win.
I am also taking Cassidy.
Okay, yeah, so here, my justification was Shibata is already occupied with his ROH Pure title, and he's rarely ever on AEW already. At most, he's usually a Rampage draw.
Correct.
Literally, like, the tag match we talked about was his first Dynamite match.
Right.
Garcia, he's already lost to Cassidy, so I don't think he really would get the title here. And he's also after Shibata's title anyways, because that's the title he lost to Yuta, so that's probably his priority, so he's on that. And Sabre is a New Japan guy, also occupied with his own much more hideous belt. So Cassidy gets another win here, but I think this one, it should be really fun.
Yeah, I took
Should
Cassidy.
be a great one.
I can't see his run ending here. I think he needs to lose after a meaningful singles feud. I think it would be kind of a waste to not build somebody and have it be super meaningful, not a somewhat random feeling 4-way. Two opponents that aren't with the company and one that is Garcia are not going to take
this.
He's
also not. It's weird. But yeah, so
it's Cassidy, I think, too.
But that should be a pretty
nice it'll be
match,
really fun.
Yeah. So next we got Blackpool Combat Club, Shota Umino, and my boy Konosuke Takeshita versus, I put them as the Hung Bucks because Omega's not here, so it's the Hung Bucks, Eddie Kingston, and Tomohiro Ishii.
This one's not easy.
What if they get attacked? Or what if Ishii's out because he got attacked but I don't think it was like a right out angle.
No.
So I think Ishii is obviously the one that you're gonna use. So I went with, I feel like the Elite and Co are gonna get a win here. Kind of even the score from Anarchy in the Arena. I'm disappointed no Ibushi, but maybe he'll pop up somewhere. Who knows? Should be fun frenzy here, and I feel like the Elite could kind of get their win back of sorts because I feel like Blood and Guts is coming, and I don't know where else you could stick the Elite getting a win, right? And so I feel like Blood and Guts has to be the ref. So I don't know. I feel like it's the Elite.
Yeah, I took the Elite with Umino taking the fall. I even got specific. Both factions are booked super strong right now, but the addition of the extra people allows kind of either side to lose here without it being a major blemish.
I can't take the pin.
I'm taking the Elite here so that Blackpool can get the win back later. Just feels like to me.
Well, I don't know if Blackpool will get the win back because they already got the Anarchy in the Arena. So
true.
Elite would tie it up here, but yeah, I could see Umino taking the pin because Takeshita can't do it.
No, exactly.
Or Yuta. It could be Yuta.
Could be Yuta.
It could be Yuta. All right. Sonata versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I think it's Sonata because despite me not knowing much or knowing very little about Sonata, there's no universe where Jungle Boy's winning the IWGP title at this stage in his career. As well, I feel like he loses turns heel on Hook. I feel like you feel similar.
This feels like a lock to me, too. It's going to be similar to my MJF reasoning. It's just swapping in a young talent who's never held a singles title for an aging veteran. Sonata's not losing his title to a kid from another company at this point, I don't think.
And I feel like the heel turn could come here.
Yep.
Next, we have MJF Tanahashi for the AEW World title. I'm going with MJF, and so the way I put it, I think it works pretty well. Tanahashi was never going to win the interim title last year against Mox, and he's never going to win the title here either. Big match, but Tanahashi isn't sticking around, much less for a world title run. He's also old, MJF's hot and young, and he's got the world title run ahead of him still.
Yeah, another lock here. MJF is not losing yet, certainly not to an aging veteran from another company.
Yep.
Next
we have Danielson Okada, perhaps the toughest one to pick.
I thought so.
Purely a dream match, so therefore the bill has been simple, which also means it's not clearly favoring one guy, like I said before. I could see Danielson winning, but I could also see Okada winning. I'm personally leaning a little towards Danielson because I think it'd be cool bragging rights for Blackpool, and I'm not it would kind of help their credibility right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure on that because it could go with Okada as well. I feel like another match will have a big New Japan win. So I'm going to take Danielson because I'm feeling that a little more, and that's the AEW win here.
So that's funny. That's good. You'll take Danielson. So I was Okada, and then your last bit of logic is what was almost getting me to turn, was the whole, you got to look at New Japan wins and AEW wins at some point.
And I feel like the last one is going to be...
So I'm still going to take Okada, but I think your reasoning is very sound.
Thank you.
So I said Danielson's not going to demand to win anything. That's not his style.
That's true.
He has no issue putting over anyone else. I don't think a lot hurts him here. And I said I'll take Okada, not super confident. With my pick for Omega Ospreay, AEW may want an AEW guy to win one of the main matches. Right,
which is what you're saying. You almost got me there because Danielson is really selfless.
Right.
That's the funny part about this because it's like I'll stick to my guns too. We'll have the. That's
going to be the match that decides it because I think we're going to pick everything else the same, which happens.
We'll see about the last one, which is Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, IWGP US title. I'm pumped. It has to be the main event. I put it last because if it's not the main event, I'm gonna actually be kind of angry.
I think it is.
So I think this one has to be Ospreay. I think he needs the win back after Omega toasted him in the first match. And I'm not a 50-50 booking guy. I'm not saying it has to be, but I think he needs the win back here.
I do too.
And the main story here is Ospreay's revenge. The promo packages have been all about his revenge and how he got embarrassed at Wrestle Kingdom. And I love that. And so I also saw a bit when I was looking for the match card that I thought was interesting. I saw Omega said something to Ospreay or like about Ospreay, like if he beats Ospreay, he'd have little reason to go back to New Japan. So that's also limiting Ospreay's future opportunities to win the title back,
right?
Which I think is an interesting bit. So I think Ospreay should win it back to also bring the title back to New Japan for a while, because Omega's probably not going to venture over there much, like he's saying. And then also Ospreay getting the win would set up the rubber match All In, which I think has to be the end game here. I think we can like have this go off for a bit, like they did with Wrestle Kingdom, because like they only heated this up for Forbidden Door, and then All In when you're in like kind of Ospreay's neck of the woods.
Kenny could win on his turf, which would be big.
That's true, but wait, on Ospreay's turf? Okay, I thought you were saying here. I was like, yeah, and then I think then at the last one it could go either way, but I think this one is really feeling like an Ospreay win. I'm excited for the match a lot, and I'm excited for him to win too. I think he has to get it here.
I unfortunately also am taking Ospreay.
We're really hedging our bets on Okada and Danielson.
I don't think the U.S. Championship comes to AEW, but it's possible, right? It's not out of the question. And again, like you said, it gets this series 1-1 with an Ospreay win, which you can have.
I feel like this has to be
you can have one of the highest stakes match for the future. You could even delay it longer and have Kenny pick up a belt somewhere and make it for 2 belts. I don't know, but I feel like Ospreay gets the win here, and this match should be amazing and better. Should be the main event. It should
be sweet, and it's kind of weird that's for mid-card title, but like that's good for that belt, I guess.
Yep, I love it.
I'm super pumped for that. That's like a day away.
So we agree on everything except
I think everything except that, right?
Yep.
It's just the Danielson Okada.
Because I kept track of all our picks.
Okay, that is me too. That is interesting. So we're really hedging our bets
and
all on the Danielson Okada.
I think there might be a chance we do a bonus episode, because we're kind of in the dog days where we don't have a ton to do at work and school, and we'll have been
really
in person.
Excited. So yeah,
so we may talk about it. If not, we'll definitely push it.
I feel like if we do a bonus, I want to at least watch a few things back. I know for certain I want to watch Omega Ospreay again, because I'm almost getting my hopes up, but like I don't really care, because the first match was sweet.
Temper your expectations a little.
But I'm pretty certain I'll watch Omega Ospreay back, and probably Danielson Okada. So I'll at least watch the 2 biggest matches back, and then if anything else really strikes me in person, I'd watch it again, because obviously the TV view is better.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole purpose of going is like.
And commentary helps too sometimes.
Right,
if you like the commentary. I'd rather not hear it on NXT.
Yeah, to like experience it live is like a different thing. So you got to go, and then obviously you want to get like the best view of it, so then you rewatch it on TV, right? The purpose to go is like to get that experience first, because that's only one time.
That's right.
So yeah, this should be sweet. I think the card got fleshed out a decent amount, and like as we
a long night.
Pretty fast. But some of the matches are like interesting choices, but like Cole Lawler's a little random, but I think that could be still good.
Yep.
So
it could.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. It looks sweet.
Me too.
Omega and Ospreay is gonna
should be a good time.
Something.
We'll come back with some stories of Forbidden Door. We'll definitely be back for 153 if we sneak in a bonus one in there.
This is 153.
Or sorry, 154.
We're approaching 3 years.
We are. We may sneak a bonus one in, so if you're subscribed or following or whatever you can do on whatever platform, you'll get notified, obviously, that we have put out something new, so keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, definitely back here next Saturday for 153. We hope to see you all back. Bring some friends along for an extra listen or two. Until next Saturday, folks, take care.